Hang on.
Now let's see. Where in the world am I going? Oh. Oh, wait a minute.
Technically
I think
waiting,
I
yes.
remember.
Alright, stream's closed. Let's go.
Hmm.
Alright, yep. Welcome back, guys. Like I said earlier, we're back again for another Mangler stream.
Okay, so there's one area of the Bone Lands. There's other in the Westland. Oh, okay. Yeah, no. I know where I'm going. All right. Let's get started.
You think you actually finish this game today or what?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I already finished the main campaign. I would just have to kill Abraxas and then complete the final boss fight again, and it would give me like the same like cutscene. Well, it'd give me a new cutscene with a dialogue, and I'd be able to skip it. Plus, Envy, since she's a mainline story boss, has like standard health, so she's gonna die really fast, like she did last time.
Wait, don't you still have to fight the Lord of Hollows?
Not if you're killing Abraxas. You can choose to kill Abraxas and the Lord of Hollows. You can choose to kill the Lord of Hollows, or you can just choose to kill Abraxas.
So what's canon?
Or you can just choose to kill neither of them. Well, go ahead.
What's the canon then?
The canon is killing Abraxas and keeping the Lord of Hollows alive.
Is that confirmed somewhere?
I believe so, because of the item that you're supposed to have in his. Because I believe in all the endings that you take, you don't actually have any additional items in the cutscenes, but I believe there is a item appearance of the thing that the Lord of Hollows gives you.
The skill shot, the skill shoes, his body couldn't take too many L's anymore. All I saw was a wink from you, Asai. No, but okay. So someone thinks one good similarity between Dante and Kratos is because they are both associated with the colors red and white. That's not a very good similarity. It's a joke we kind of bring up with Death Battles. Like Death Battle will say that like having the same color scheme is a good fucking connection. Oh, is that a mini boss or something?
That is one of the chosen, and for some reason I did not get any dialogue.
Do you want to try?
Disappointing. No, there's no way you can get it. I think it might have been.
When you say one of the chosen, do you mean the original 4 bosses of Darksiders 1?
Yeah, the chosen are a species that exists in Darksiders. That's confirmed in 3.
The chosen, but weren't they the generals of the fucking destroyer?
Yep, until Darksiders 2 and 3 are just like, yeah, actually they're just creatures that were made by the creator and were left behind. We don't know why. And they're basically, they're born from like...
So
I don't know if it's confirmed they're born from the Abyss, but it's confirmed that like their souls are essentially nothingness and empty.
So you're telling me then that the chosen went from being 4 specific generals chosen by literally a guy to fight for him are now just a race of beings that I guess coincidentally just got chosen to be his guard?
Well, he just chose really. They would just be the strongest of the chosen that he chose to fight for him. I don't know if they'd be the strongest of the chosen, period, but they'd be the strongest ones that he found, at least. So, this one, for example, says, the Chosens are creatures fueled by anger. The Creator turned his back on them ago, leaving them empty, cold, lacking the spark of life that courses through all things. None know why the Chosen were forgotten, not even the Chosen themselves. Now they wander, acting on the only thing left to them, hatred.
I get the same feeling when I walk into a fucking grocery store.
Well, so what's supposed to happen here is that in every fight or in every sequence where Fury goes and finds the Chosen, the Watcher actually comments on what the Chosen are, as well as the
Well, you don't have the Watcher anymore, do you? Because this is technically post game.
Yeah, but I believe Well, oh wait, that's fucking right. I have to come here
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
the Watcher,
So
and then she
you.
would have the dialogue.
Yeah. So
I
you
fucked
fucked
up.
up. So
I mean, I could always go back and get it later.
if the Golden Fleece can reflect hacks, how can Dante get around his own passives? His passives wouldn't work on himself, but the Golden Fleece can't reflect hacks? What the fuck?
Let me go to where is the next one? Bone layers.
What hacks has the Golden Fleece ever actually repelled? So now there's no point going after the Chosen.
There still is.
You just want
I can
the
get
you just want the fucking fragment.
I mean, it's a good idea to have them anyway.
The hacks.
Wait,
of
where's
hacks.
the bone?
No, like real talk for a minute. What the fuck? No, now I'm curious. What the fuck has the actual Golden Fleece reflected as a hacks ability?
Only projectiles. That's also not what the Golden Fleece specifically says in its description. It's able to reflect beams, various
It
projectiles,
reflects your mom.
and like refract things.
Nothing reflects my mom. It's too powerful. It's lost itself long ago. So Red Dusk. So watch Chuck's Kratos versus Gore. I'll keep that in mind. Well, Ozra, does he give an example or no? Also, guys, no Ragnarok spoilers here. So we're getting pretty close to Ragnarok. I think I'll have one more spoiler discussion, maybe tomorrow, and then we'll just wait for the actual game to come out.
Guys, that's what the spoiler discussion thing is for. Have it there, not here. You fools.
Okay, so Nello, I guess Mangler, you wanna talk about yourself? Kratos versus Poseidon. Who wins in your opinion without Gaia assistance?
You mean like at the beginning of God of War 3?
Kratos is pretty stacked if he's accurate. I'm asking for certain hacks. Okay, he's saying yeah at the beginning of God of War 3. Again, he's just asking the question for that was on the debate earlier.
So, I would say Kratos probably wins. Like, well, okay, if Gaia's not assisting him, how the fuck is he on the mountain?
He's climbing.
If he's just hanging on the wall, assuming like Poseidon's using his brain, do we consider it a concession if Kratos gets blown off Mount Olympus? If not, then that fight's gonna take a really long time. And if he gets onto dry land, he'll probably be able to beat Poseidon, though it'll be like mid-high difficulty. If it's a concession, if he gets blown off the wall, then yeah, Poseidon's gonna win. Well, like this depends on if you think Zeus fighting like Kratos at the beginning of God of War 3 and blowing him off the mountain is a loss for Kratos, then Poseidon, by that logic, Poseidon would win. Because all he would have to do is like swing and smack Kratos the fuck off the mountain. Because he was that close to doing it. The only reason it didn't work was because Gaia was there.
Anyways,
where is the bone
also
cave?
Without Ragnarok's full descriptions, we don't really have like enough information to work with.
Oh, here it is. It's a cargo ship. Someone said it was a bone cave. What was it even the right Volgren portal? Fool.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Chuck did say his major flaws, all his weapons have the hacks while Gore has natural hacks. Yeah, that's probably the most accurate thing in that
also,
video.
wait. Are we talking about the video that Chuck did where he was like composite Kratos versus Gore?
Wait. It's not just God of War 3 Kratos?
No, it's composite Kratos. It's Kratos with all of his weapons.
So we're not expecting Jev, Ken, Omega, and that guy Kev this stream because you banned all three of them for the day. No, I didn't ban them for the day, but I'm assuming they're not going to show up because they don't really. There's nothing really for them here in this stream.
They showed up to the last Darksiders stream to start shit.
Assuming Jev was being honest, not that accurate. Oh no, Hasai, don't talk shit about Chuck like that. What are you doing? We're trying to be neutral.
I mean, he also argued the highest possible interpretation and some pretty wonky standards.
I mean, the fact that he's saying the fucking Golden Fleece reflects hacks on its own, then yeah, like that's already a fucking like.
I mean, he thought the primordials existing prior to time was immeasurable speed. I'm like, oh.
That should just be inaccessible.
No, like basically by his logic, being in an area with no time makes you like outside of linear time as a whole. Like, wow, fuck.
Wait,
like
Jev and Kevin
thousands of characters just got upgraded to immeasurable speed.
So what happened is I told them I wasn't in the mood, and I told them that if they were going to keep trolling, I was just going to immediately just like block them for like probably like for like a week or something. So I blocked Man because he wouldn't stop trolling, but then like Man had to explain to me afterwards, and during the stream they had to explain that. So I guess the messages I get from you guys are not entirely in real time. There's a little bit of a delay. So I warned them to stop trolling. But then Man's last troll that I said before I started talking popped up. So technically, yeah, no, that's what happened. I just wasn't really in the mood to deal with that shit today. Especially because like I don't even have like the full evidence on the table. I was just giving like preliminary fucking like interpretations based on what I've seen. And then we didn't even have time to sit down and go through the entire cosmology.
To be fair, nobody has the whole evidence on the table because nobody has the game.
Looks at those fucking South Americans who already own the game.
Wait, hang on a sec. So I don't. Oh no, that's already. We've already seen that before. All right, where's that platform-based thing?
Oh, so Jeb was fine.
There it is.
Jeb had no issues whatsoever, and actually he was probably the. If I had to say which one of the four of them was causing the least amount of trouble, it would have been like without a doubt fucking Jev.
It's usually Jev. He's the least troublesome.
Jev, the only thing me and Jev disagreed on was one particular feat, but without proper context, obviously there was no real serious point discussing it. Are you guys gonna do a video with the God of War guys talking about the God of War cosmology? Fuck no. First off, if that happens in any capacity, it will not be as a group project on my side, because two of the people on my side vehemently dislike them, and if that is going to be a discussion, I'm not going to have it all three at once.
Everyone in the project has a problem with the way they do their logic, not just us.
That is
not
true.
Just myself and not just Balrog.
Wow. It's just throw Devil into that plus. Why don't you?
Whoa. I should have waited a little bit there on that strike.
Anyways, Mangler, could Kratos be able to fight Poseidon if he flood the entire arena and everything is submerged in water?
Yeah. Let me check the chat now.
They're just asking you the scenario I fucking discussed.
People do have the game, Mangler. I'm talking about actual people.
Wow,
like when it's released to the
South
public.
Americans aren't real people, understood?
No, I'm talking about when it's released at the designated day.
I guess fucking the Chinese just don't matter.
Fuck retail stores. Fuck all of you guys. For cheating your way out of life.
You wanna fight, you Chick-fil-A motherfucker? How about you double dip these nuggets into your fucking disgrace?
Unfortunately, I'm no longer qualified to do the minute.
Do you guys ever actually double?
So shut your mouth.
How is it moving in an area with no time not be measurable? You'd be above the concept of time. Okay, so
you'd have to prove you're above time on a linear scale, and that you have a superiority to it. And that you can move through it.
See, this is the problem, is that the way it fucking works is that normally if the speed... I mentioned this last time. If the speed formula gets broken, that's not instantly immeasurable. That'd technically be inaccessible to infinite.
Yeah, like, you could have the lowest possible interpretation of the eyes. With, like, just without... Well, actually, that's without context. We're not even considering that you can just qualify for acausality. That's not necessarily a speed thing.
Hang on.
And even if we treat it that way... You then have to universally treat everything in your verse that way, off of that standard, even if your verse hasn't established that.
It's not quite the devil.
Which presents
Oh, you're still in. Go on.
I was going to say that presents a much bigger problem for the scaling in that verse. And any verse that applies to the standard that doesn't have the evidence to substantiate that.
It's not that fucking Devil couldn't defend 90 Sky for them. It's that neither of us have the actual fucking game, and there are... Their argument boils down to we've seen YouTube videos that don't have it, and also pixel. Well, they didn't even pixel calc. They did line calcing. If they did pixel calcing, at least then you could like actually count the pixels to see if it's a different measurement or not.
Their argument boils down to I got the wrong version of the game that I think is the correct version of the game, and there's some YouTube footage of this version, well, actually of a completely different version, and you don't have the scans in my version, therefore they're forged. It's like, yeah, I mean, I guess that's how that works if you don't know anything about how the game is produced.
Honestly, the biggest fucking problem is that neither one of us has the actual fucking game to work with. We're all just fucking hoping the fucking like official translation.
We're not hoping. We're not even hoping anything. Every single time I've talked to someone about the Billy Bill version, they keep telling me that it's like I found these scans, and it's like, well, none of them are either have access to a YouTube stream, but every single one of them keeps finding these quote unquote fake scans. It's like, wow, they keep finding these things, even though they're all people that I don't know, have nothing to do with power scaling, and don't know me or don't have any reason to lie to me. Isn't that interesting? Maybe they're just real.
Lies. No, but yeah, no. So again, you wouldn't assume immeasurable speed based off moving in a place without time, because that could just be infinite and accessible.
That's without assuming that like a person can also just have a causality. You would go with the default of having a causality or have.
I really don't understand why we give a causality for existing in a place without time.
Because you are not affected by the lack or existence thereof of a flow of time. But you're not bound by general rules.
Causality is not based on time. Causality is based on cause and effect. It's based on action and then the proper reaction. Like, yes, most like cause and effects happen on a linear scale.
Causality is dictated by a flow of time specifically.
It's dictated by a flow of actions.
Within time.
I feel like that's, I mean, like, yes, but that's because it happens in our time. But, like, so then, if for example, we're fighting in a timeless world and I punch and you block, is that not cause and effect?
Cause and effect by the rules of that one, but, like, a causality is usually referring on a default to places that
How can you cause an effect without sequence of events? The same time is everywhere. If you can exist in a timeless place, you yourself exist in that timeless spot. There's not billions of you walking around. You don't walk to a new location and leave behind like a billion after-images versions of you that are all stuck in that one spot.
Speak for yourself, heathen.
Oh, imagine having trash void movement. I could never.
I'm sorry, don't you rep a guy that has like shitloads of after-images? Or was I thinking of someone else?
Diavolo has a lot of after-images, but that's not the point. I
was actually thinking of Kenshiro, but I might be.
Kenshiro does not have after. Well, I mean, he can have after-images, but they were only in the fucking movie. It was a really stupid fucking argument that battle had. But he does have the ability to call his dead friends out to help him. No,
there you go.
Again, we're talking in a timeless place, though. Again, why would you assume being able to move in a timeless place just makes you a-causal?
Because, like, well, aside from that, like, I think the verse needs to demonstrate it. Like, the verse specifically needs to establish that the feat in question is a speed feat. Otherwise, it's just existing to me. I don't really, like,
Can Kenshiro kill deathless characters? If they have a body, he can cripple them to the point that they'll never be able to move. I technically can kill you. Well, it depends, because according to the mobile game, Musou Tensei can erase you from existence. Not the mobile game, according to one of the Ken's Rage games. But being perfectly honest, Ken's Rage is I don't even think it's viable to use in any capacity.
Mangler, notice me, I've noticed you.
No, you didn't.
Anyway, Mangler, could Kratos be able to fight Poseidon if he flooded the entire arena and everything's submerged in water? What does he have in the arena? Because depending on what's there, I could argue Kratos could take a W. Whereas if Kratos is fighting Poseidon in the middle of the ocean, and it's just like the beginning of God of War 3 Kratos or a weaker Kratos, I can argue Poseidon would take that. Especially if all Kratos has to defend himself in this case that he can use to basically not suffer disadvantage is just the Trident of Poseidon. I could unironically argue that Poseidon could probably find a way to either get rid of that or could fuck up his magic so that he couldn't use it. Because all those items and artifacts that he has are just not only magic weapons, the nature, but the how is it? How do I say this? The way by which they're accessible to Kratos is just referred to as "quote unquote" magic. I know they're like technically hammer space, but the way that you access that hammer space is just by using magic. At least according to Aphrodite. And like it's magic in a quotation marks, like a very generic sense. So
Because Ken Omega tried to argue that Kratos can adapt to mastering water combat. Not entirely. I mean,
not really.
So what he argued was Kratos is a master of combat or a master of war, and he just extrapolated that to mean he's a master of war in every capacity, meaning that underwater combat also falls under that.
That's not really true. You kind of have to argue. At that point, you have to argue how the fuck did Ares lose to him at all? Because like, how would Ares lose in combat to a character that he not only trained but sired to be his perfect warrior?
I guess Kratos is just a better fighter.
Yeah, with no statements or lore to back that up.
Kratos was a better fighter than the guy who knew all combat, all of history, all of time, and all of creation. Damn.
I'd also like to point out that's not really stated. What's known is that everywhere that war is fought, it is his kingdom. So he would have insights and knowledge on the nature of war, but he would not have like complete and total mastery over it. Like very, very big difference there.
So why are you lying?
Also, in the case of Poseidon, no amount of mastery allows you to not be like, allows you to. No amount of mastery prevents you from being zoned to death. Like what mastery of combat prevents the entire area and arena around you from fucking you over? Like my reaction time and speed is, assuming like they're equivalent or comparable to a person, if they control every aspect of the entire arena and location around me, that doesn't really matter how, like, my mastery of combat doesn't mean, like, jack shit. Unfortunately. Oh, wait, now I know where I need to go. There we go. I'm gonna go, what are these skill issues? Hello, everyone, and we're back. Oh, Triple.
Hello,
Triple exists.
Yes, he is back once again.
Also, Poseidon already demonstrated that he could just flat out kill Kratos as the god of war and goes to Sparta. He literally could just electrocute the water. And if you want to say that's like, oh, that's a death animation, that doesn't really count, where it's like, okay, then I kind of have to ask, what's the entire intention of it being?
What's Kratos?
Like, what's the point and, like, intention of it being there, then? What's the point of having, like, Poseidon show up as a contestable foe if you think he doesn't at least partially scale the God of War Kratos?
What's Kratos' speed scaling again? Technically infinite speed?
Yeah, infinite for sure. But, like, you can still give that to Poseidon as well. Keep in mind, I'm not arguing, like, Poseidon's, like, an insanely skilled water user. He's the best one that's in the Greek pantheon, but, like, he's not that good. I'm just saying, in general, like, he should have a massive field advantage. There's no reason to assume Kratos counters that because he has mastery over forms of war. That's like, if I stick you in an area, specifically in like an area that's like hundreds to thousands of feet wide, it restricts the entirety of your mobility to a form of combat you've never engaged with. And we're arguing that you simply have mastery over it because you've received knowledge of all forms of combat, but you'd somehow be able to put that into application instantaneously when a person who's fought in that combat that has the same physiology for you for years is somehow going to let that knowledge be applied, or would somehow let you get to that point. That just seems rather ridiculous to me. Also, like, what knowledge would he be applying? He'd basically be using the blades of Oh fuck! Did I miss the area? I did. Wait. Is there another location I have to start this out at? Oh no, I can just go up here. Oh, why is Abraxas all the way over here? My goodness. Why can't he just be in a convenient location?
Son of a gun. Had to use the restroom. How strong is Morgan from Golf High School? You'd probably have to ask Kyle that. He's probably the only one who like have an idea.
I mentioned Morgan a couple times. I believe he has mentioned Morgan.
I think he might have said star level last time, but I'm not too sure. Granted, I think he said he hasn't caught. Well, no, I think he did say he was up to date, but I don't know how that series works, so I don't know if that if it's still going on or if it's done.
Ah, here we go. This is slightly better.
You must be so proud.
I mean, I think it's meant to be used on smaller opponents.
Very convenient.
Up we go.
Who would make a better president? Sigourney Weaver or Jamie Lee Curtis? What the fuck?
Sigourney Weaver? But I would... Are you talking about the woman who played Ripley in the Alien movies?
Fuck if I know.
No, that is Sigourney Weaver. Like, what?
I mean, Red, that's the one who asked the question.
What a random question. Oh, wow, that's nice.
All of our questions have been random. Kinda, yeah, but like actor questions are just probably the most random of them all.
Like, what does Ripley have to do with, like, at least parts of the question have something to do with other parts of the question. What does Sigourney Weaver have to do with being president? Like, when I think of Sigourney Weaver, the first thing that pops into my mind is the movies that she's done or her acting career, not her being president.
I mean, there was that one fucking president who was an actor. What was his name? Carter, I think?
No, Reagan.
Tea or coffee? More shenanigans!
Oh, fuck.
What's wrong?
I missed it. Oh, no. Abraxas isn't here at all.
Are you telling me you missed the entire end section of the side quest because you were too busy running to the end of the game?
I didn't realize I needed the Watcher here to activate that. Wow, that's unfortunate. So, well, time to go talk to the Lord Apollos.
Well, is he even there?
That's a great question.
So I guess we're getting the Darksiders 2 a lot faster than I thought we were going to.
I'll get the footage for it later.
Chicken or turkey? Ooh, good question. Good question.
I'll still have to do the Crucible, but yeah, that's gonna take. This is gonna be the Crucible stream now.
So chicken's pretty fucking good. Like if I had to choose more but turkey's got a nice flavor to it. I think if I had to say, I think I'd probably say chicken just because chicken has better bread options. Richard Nixon was
Was it
not an
Richard
actor.
Nixon? No, it was Ronald Reagan. Oh shit. What happens when I try to hold my phone and play the game at the same time?
Chicken, but sandwich is turkey. Oh yeah, I like turkey ham a lot better than just regular ham. I don't like pork. I don't think Soap beats Ghost currently, but I haven't played new Call of Duty yet.
MC6 is not happening for quite some time. Okay, he's not here. It seems I got the wrong ending. Whoops.
So, that's kind of funny.
Yes. But we will be going to Darksiders 2 sooner than expected, so you will be able to see a gameplay installation. More like fatigue issue. Should have managed my stamina a lot better. Should have realized I was too tired to look up some of that shit. Because I knew I had to do certain things in a certain order. I just forgot.
Nah, because in the Power Captain Price screaming Soap, it's going to be Soap winning that.
Hmm.
Ribs don't have a lot of meat. I've never had ribs.
Why don't we put Rage on the Talons? That'd be a good idea. And we'll put... Bounce Marauder. This one will have... Balance Juggernaut.
Yeah, personally, I've never really had ribs or pork chops or anything like that currently. Ribs are supposed to have a decent amount of meat on them, so that's kind of weird if your ribs don't have meat on them.
I think we'll just buff evade counter damage.
Because, like, I've seen enough proper fucking grill masters produce ribs that are, like, I'd say 60% meat and 40% bone.
We'll start at the beginning. We're going to beat this thing in one go. Alright. Here we go, boys. Wait a minute, what enhancements
Bro, it's
do I
just
have?
majority of bones my rib. Where are you buying your ribs at? There comes a certain point where the problem might not be I'm allergic to seafood except shrimp. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. How are you allergic to seafood but not shrimp? Do you mean you just don't like seafood except shrimp? Because, like, that would imply you're not allergic to lobster and shit, but, like, those are also, like, you know, those are the same family of fucking food.
The floors are scripted a little bit by levels because their enemies are very weak.
I don't know
Exceptionally so.
So, being allergic to seafood's not weird. Being allergic to all seafood except shrimp is weird. Just when I was done with the whole Blue Sky Pistol and North Star meta, apparently they found a statement saying that. Well, I had to fucking look at that statement to make sure, but fuck me. Why the fuck is it so complicated? Fucking author statements. My mom tried to feed me crabs and I started breaking out, but I can eat shrimp for some reason. That's fucking weird. I mean, if you don't like seafood in general, which I mean you probably don't since you're allergic to it, that's probably fine. It's like that's such a weird condition, or like it's such a specific, like, it's just so specific. Ah, damn. I believe you. Imagine being straight and you look to a vagina. At that point, you're not straight anymore. You're just gay. What the fuck? Where the hell did Mangler go? He doesn't realize he's been kicked out. He doesn't realize he's not on the fucking call. He's just realized it. Welcome back.
Oh. I get disconnected?
Yeah.
That was weird, because I didn't get any feedback on my headphones that indicated that.
I literally just checked the chat to see. So in the Dante and Bayonet one protagonist swap, wouldn't John try to show up during the Jubileus fight as well? Probably not at that point.
This is always having the worst fucking time. Only 5 waves. We should be moving faster. Where's my turbo mode? You know what? I have a turbo mode. Called hitting the enemies harder and faster. Dude, what the fuck? That's so bullshit.
Damn, they tag teamed you.
You know what? That's what we're gonna do.
Hey Maryland, bro. All we got is seafood and Old Bay. Don't get me wrong, Old Bay is fire. Highly recommend getting. Repeat with me, chat. Skill.
MC5 Dante versus end of series Kenshiro with equal stats. Zen, go.
Hang on, let me see this. He just has he has no way to put Dante down. Like, even highest possible interpretation, Dante survives like existence erasure on like a he survives existence erasure on the super intense level technically, because if the demon can erase someone from existence from POC, he'd have to erase their name and their entire concept of fundamentally behind them. So the problem is, like, even if I give Kratos, like, unless, hang on, I think there's a statement. Hang on, I think there's a statement from Gento that says Gento completely erases you in your entirety. Hang on, let me see if that's even. And keep in mind that would basically be Wake if I'm being honest.
Hang on.
Hear me out. Go on.
It says in its entirety, so therefore we just assume it means everything.
Well, hang on. Let me see if I can actually.
Isn't that what everybody does when they see something? When they see an encompassing statement, they just assume it means literally everything that could be extrapolated to.
Yep. So I thought we should.
Well, there you go.
No.
You've achieved the normal amount of length that the average power scaler has. Congratulations.
No. The statement is Hokuto Shinken destroys from within, but Gento Koken completely annihilates the enemy.
Whoa, dude, look at the. Hold on. Is everyone seeing it? Look at this. These attacks are going right under. How tight are these hitboxes? They were going right under him.
Those are some great hitbox detection, actually. That means they actually spent a lot of time to decide this weapon's trash.
No, they're just like, we're going to make it so precise, you can hit every single enemy of the game, except for this one enemy on this one strike.
Honestly, even without Dante's actual survivability argument with the existence erasure, there's the other fact on the table that you can literally just argue Dante's healing factor negs Hokuto Shinken. Because technically, Hokuto Shinken works off damaging pressure points.
But is Kinshiro a better dancer?
I don't know. His wife was kidnapped and raped, so I don't think he had time for that. I'm just gonna be the buzz.
Damn, I mean, let's just go
full 10 out of 10 over the top.
Let's just ruin the mood, why don't we?
And then she died of cancer after he got her back.
Now I really don't want to read the series in the future, because that just sounds so miserable.
I'm kidding. She doesn't get raped. The guy tries to win her heart, but like fucking, she never like gives up because he loves her too. So no, she doesn't get raped. Actually,
yeah, that's a little bit better.
Actually, now that I think about it, there's implied rape, but there's never any like overtly shown or like extrapolated. Well, there's one instance where a girl gets gangbanged potentially to death, but you never see anything happen to her. It's off panel and you just hear her screaming, but you would assume that's what happened given the context.
That's almost as bad anyway.
To be fair, it is an antagonist who's super cruel and shit, so that's supposed to happen, but that's like the only time in the main series I can think that explicitly ever pops up. Ray Gaiden, though, is a different story. There is rape everywhere in that story.
We've got rape for you and rape for you.
Well, so the story takes place in a city of prostitutes, and the main antagonists want to take over the city, so it's only, technically it comes with the territory.
Are you telling me they're all just Jack the Ripper saying, it's just nature running its course?
Yeah, and it doesn't help that, the main hero, in order to figure out who killed the queen, decides to beat the guard that's supposed to be protecting women. So things get worse as a result, but we don't like to think about that.
How many times has Kratos fought Deimos? I believe it's indicated that they fought each other a lot as children, and then he fights him again as an adult in the Domain of Death. We don't know how many times, but since they were both trained as Spartans, we would assume they fought each other regularly.
And then he died after he got barely love tapped by the god of death. What?
I could never get over the fact that Deimos is just magically strong enough to beat a God of War Kratos with no explanation ever given in the series.
You mean fight him?
Beat him.
Fight him.
He literally punches Kratos' face into a bloody pulp.
I have to watch that fight.
You have to. It's like oh wow, he's kind of giving him a run for his money.
So
and then it's
are
just
you telling me Deimos is greater than a fighter who knows all fighting styles across all history, time, and possibility?
Yeah. I mean, even if you want to argue like Kratos is holding back, like why would he be taking damage if he could just know how to evade? Then it's like then I have to ask then I have to ask the question. It's just like how shitty is your combat mastery, where you presumably know everything in every single context.
Isn't it stated Deimos was supposed to be the chosen one?
No. That was so the fucked up thing about this is that this was a prophecy that was specifically like confirmed in the game. Oh wow, I got hit there. Um, this is a prophecy that was confirmed in the game that was supposed to happen, in which a marked warrior would bring about the destruction of Olympus. But that prophecy was referring to Kratos. It was not referring to Deimos.
Why didn't they just capture both of them?
Because they were looking for the child, the marked warrior in Sparta.
Yes.
The mark was not on Kratos' body at the time. The mark came about from him trying to save Deimos from being captured by Ares. And when he got knocked up against the wall, he got a scratch, I believe, on his forehead that led to the mark being formed.
Okay, but like so.
And that was
the question
that was after
like,
they walked away.
So then, so they just didn't see it.
Yeah, no. So like, if we're talking like practicality, and they knew they were brothers, they should have just taken both of them. That would have been the smart idea. But because they decided not to be cautious, yeah, they paid the price for it. And then that prophecy came true. It's kind of ironic that now that you think about it, that people actually argue he has fate manipulation when he literally fulfilled his fate according to like a basic prophet deity that actually not even deity. It was literally like your standard oracle for hire that just predicted that he would fulfill an outcome, and he fulfilled that outcome to the letter.
Are you saying it's not fate manipulation?
Kind of strange. What?
Athena just told him to leave Kratos alone. Oh, so we're just gonna argue then that Athena just literally just threw her family into the bus for the 15 billion time.
I'm aware. Still fulfilled his prophecy though. Or still fulfilled his fate though.
Are you telling me Athena's literally just been getting ready to kill her family the entire fucking series?
No, she's one of those. I try to keep the family together when like she's like one of those people that kind of naively doesn't seem to understand when a family is going to shit. And
you want to talk about it? You seem to have a lot. That seems to hit a little close to home to you. Do you want to talk about it?
No.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
I mean, it's a trait that can be considered admirable, but not when you're the goddess of foresight.
I did not foresee this ass whooping coming.
I did not foresee all of the events that I was literally
supposed to foresee.
Supposed to foresee that I was how do I say this? Expected and foretold to succeed, because that's literally my fucking job.
Yeah, I know. But going back to the Kenshiro versus Dante thing, yeah, so the problem is that while it's never confirmed, it's kind of heavily implied based on the Falco fight that if you remove the damage on your pressure points, the pressure point won't activate. So I could just argue that Dante, with his healing factor, would just be able to tank the pressure point strikes, and they would do nothing to him because his body would just heal back before the pressure point would even go off.
That's an interesting
That being said, Kratos does get Royal Guard. Or not Kratos, Kenshiro does steal Royal Guard from Dante pretty easily. So now he guard flies.
What nonsense.
Finally, a character who can guard fly.
Okay, Mangler, but Bale 3 win. I told you. It's not been the 2 weeks yet.
When does Bale...
Wait, are you talking about like me talking about it or me streaming it? Because I have said multiple times, I can't really like stream anything from the Switch.
Is martial arts
not practically. It's not a very powerful piece of hardware.
This is just between Kenshiro and Dante. I'm just pointing out that like Hokuto Shinken like just gets fucked by Dante's healing factor, because so most healing factors technically beat fucking Kenshiro technically, but it's never confirmed because the only character in Fist of the North Star who has a healing factor never fights him. I'm just taking this off the fact that going off. And he survives this. The official description is he annihilated every cell in his body and he's still alive intact, like, let's go, motherfucker. Bro, I'm pretty sure that's some form of godly regen. You fuckers are lying at this point.
Maybe he was just really in tune with their biology.
I mean, at that point, like, if this motherfucker has a healing factor on that level, then I guess technically, Kenshiro's healing factor works above low godly, or whatever the fuck that would be.
That would be high, like very high.
That'd be high.
The highest you can go within like a biological capacity before
Okay.
you start going beyond the
Okay,
body.
now hear me out. Remember that guy I told you who could annihilate everything with his attacks? Same guy did that to himself.
Yes.
So that's the same fighting style.
Yes. Oh.
Hang
Let me
on.
just get some tornadoes
What's
in here.
the
There we
actual
go.
description? Let me see what he says specifically, because... Has he not hit the pressure point yet? No, he hasn't hit the pressure point yet. I gotta go a little further. What's the actual statement? Here it is. He destroyed all his cells. He stopped the reaction of the channeling point. Yeah, so I guess you can either just like tear... So you can either tear out your pressure points, or you can just heal through the damage, and theoretically, Hokuto Shinken wouldn't work on you. Granted, if you have to activate your healing factor or something, he could probably stop you from doing that after he sees you do it once. Spawn regen eggs? I don't know what Spawn's regen is. I mean, probably. If Spawn has anything comparable to like fucking... Actually, realistically speaking, anything above mid probably could work there. Kratos just better. No one's even talking about Kratos. What the fuck? Can Adachi fix Shin and Jaggy? Real talk for a minute, he could probably fix Shin. I don't know about Jaggy. If Shin would just stop simping for his boy's girl, Shin would still be alive. Milkshake?
Stop spawning his kids. That'd be great.
You're a liberal. I thought you were all for abortions.
Stop spawning his children.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It would be an abortion if it happened before they were born.
Oh.
Light Beta? Who the fuck? Are you talking about Light?
Wait, does that punish me for using consumables?
Ken shows a
What
crazy
in the
martial
hell?
artist. Yeah, Ken. Ken, believe me, I read Fisto North Star, you know? Believe me, we know about Fisto North Star here.
Get Steam Deck? Bro, I already got the Switch. I can't commit to another several $100 thing.
No,
well, actually, wait.
He's basically just telling you to get a PC so you can emulate the game.
I mean, at that point.
Dante touching
so
Kenshiro martial arts only, bro, just saying. Technically, he would, because over time, Dante would just keep... The problem is that Kenshiro has no way to put him down.
You probably don't want to make that argument when, like, Dante's soul literally contains, like, all the information and memories of, like, people around him. He can adapt to fighting styles for people that...
Well, so, no. Like, if we're talking straight up just pure martial art talent, like, no, Kenshiro's on par, if not greater than Dante. The problem...
Oh, sure. I'm fine with that. I'm just saying, like, when you talk about martial arts, you have to consider every variable that goes into when Dante challenges you. And the problem is,
if Dante
like,
didn't have a healing factor, Kenshiro would beat him. If Dante has the healing factor, Kenshiro loses. Because regardless of Kenshiro being potentially... Okay, equal stats, first to quote-unquote death, we'll say, Kenshiro wins. Because even if Dante uses Royal Guard once, and Kenshiro now has Royal Guard in its entirety. And it'd be just as good, if not better, than Dante's. Actually, no, it wouldn't. No, because technically he has Muso Tensei. Why are we counting for healing factor in martial arts only? Because I'm talking about a character versus a character. Even if I equalize it, are we just going to ignore like the fact that one character can literally heal back his entire body?
What does physiology disappear in a martial artist contest?
I mean, if we're talking pure like skill point to point, like, and we're just discussing pure skill and not like a versus matchup, then yeah, I'd probably say Kenshiro's more skilled than Dante, because Dante doesn't want to demonstrate it. Martial arts only. Well, no, we're talking Kenshiro versus Dante, and I'm explaining why even if basically Kenshiro could fight no hacks, I mean, no. So we're
physiology isn't really hacks.
So we're removing all abilities, just pure martial arts. So that leaves Dante. Well, hang on a minute. Do you consider swordsmanship a martial art or no? Because that's technically a martial art. So does Dante still get access to his swords? Because martial art, by definition, is just any fighting. I think it's just like here. Let me see. I'm pretty sure swordsmanship falls in our martial art. Martial arts are codified systems and traditions of combat practice for a number of reasons, such as self-defense, military. Yeah, so swordsmanship falls into that. Okay. So we give Dante all of his weapons, technically, his full arsenal, versus Kenshiro's Hokuto Shinken. No healing factor whatsoever. And yes, you could count it, but putting a sword user against a hand-to-hand user is kind of weird. It's okay. We have Nanto Seiken. It's okay. It's fair.
Stand up like we know what that means.
I mean, well, fucking Ken should know what that means if he actually knows about Kenshiro. I don't know if Kev does, but Ken seems to know about Kenshiro, so he should know what Nanto Seiken is. But Dante not. Well, the problem is that the only martial art we know Dante has in general is he knows some degree of boxing. He technically knows some martial art that I can't quite name, because with Gilgamesh in particular, he demonstrates some moves of Bruce Lee.
He knows kickboxing, boxing, karate, kung fu, capoeira, and
technically Royal Guard is its own martial art.
And then he also has, I believe, he has another set of techniques that he can do, though he does use his regen negation for this, where he can basically just incapacitate you without actually killing you directly. He can just knock you unconscious. Just by, just beating the shit out of you.
Zim, he will just copy and adapt. He would eventually stack on Kenshiro with that alone. So the problem with that is Kenshiro can copy and adapt too. And if Dante has no... Because the main reason Kenshiro loses most of his matchups against people on his level are too much simping, literally a biological disadvantage that he would have no way of knowing, and being a demon with an aura that passively negs you.
Demon with an aura that passively negs you? Well, introduces every single DMC demon?
To be fair, it's he's not a demon, he's a human, but he's basically become the ruler of hell.
You know what I'm trying to say. Passives galore. Also, adaptability is not something that's a problem for Dante. Dante has fought people that are specifically designed to adapt to him and adapt to his adaptability.
Rao canonically never beats Kenshiro in a fight. He's just his equal. Him and Tokyo, they're equals, but he never actually beats Kenshiro, technically. Dante get by before he finishes copying all Kenshiro's moveset. If they're on par with each other at the start, and Dante's not using Royal Guard to block all attacks immediately, because you know how Dante fights, then Kenshiro should win that relatively easily. But the problem is that Kenshiro should adapt beyond Dante's main martial... Well, this is fucked up, because when we're talking martial arts, we have Muso Tensei, but actually no, Dante can hit non-existent beings, so Muso Tensei shouldn't really matter here.
Adaptability doesn't really matter. Analytical prediction, anything that regards, that involves evolving and advancing to defeat or counter your opponent is irrelevant to Dante. Literally, Dante's first opponent in the canon, when he's power null beyond all capacity, is a guy that is specifically designed to counter all of his techniques and fighting styles and adapt to all of them as Dante adapts, and Dante still beats him.
Ultra Instinct is nothing to Fist of the North Star. Fist of the North Star has so many layers of Ultra Instinct, it's not even funny. Dude, fucking Goku's Ultra Instinct... What?
I don't really want to hear that from a guy that doesn't know anything about the DMC lore. Not really not really in a position to be talking.
The problem is that Dante no healing factor. Dante lets one hit slide. Kenshiro wins because Hokuto Shinken hits you once and you're done. So again, if Dante's
that would be harder to say.
What?
I don't know. I always thought how much you pronounce the names of his techniques. I always thought they'd be harder to say, but they seem so simple to pronounce.
It took probably years for me to get it right, if we're being honest. Zim, Dante's instinctive reaction against Void Mundus is better. Not quite. Because, Dante's instinctive reaction against Void Mundus is being able to react to nothingness itself. You could argue Rao could do that during his fight against Kenshiro. But even then, they can react to their own Muso Tenseis.
React an omnipresent attack from every single corner of like the entire space that you're located in?
Technically, he can stop an attack that qualifies that description, yes. However, it would probably not be like as many as what was going on with Void Mundus versus Dante, to be fair. However, in a warp dimension, one of the characters throws out 1,101 strikes, completely surrounds an area, there's no opening whatsoever, and he stops the attack from killing the person it was supposed to kill by stopping the attack.
I'm sorry, I would argue that'd be inferior. Because in the case of Void Mundus, the entire void is the attack. Like, it's not just the attack that he's throwing, like, the entire void is...
Hear me out! Hear me out! Hear me out! The 100 quintillion punch is stated to be uncountable! Hear me out!
It's not 100 quintillion, though.
Shut the fuck up, you whore! Oh, hear me out! I have multiple statements for uncountable hits that he can counter. Shut the fuck up!
Actually,
I think. Oh wait, hang on. There's a fourth one here.
Yes, it's me.
Yeah.
Neo.
I was gonna say everybody shows up all at once. Go ahead, Neo.
So I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna get into specifics, but just going off of the two premises alone, off of those. Honestly, you can crucify me for this, but I really don't see a difference. And hear me out on this. So if we're going off of the notion, So if we're going off of the notion of, let's say an attack that hits everywhere at every point, like omnipresent attack essentially, or in the likes. You have an attack that essentially also covers every area and the likes as well. I personally don't see a difference between the two at all because they're both occupying the same quote unquote space, quote unquote. I say that in quotations because there is no space. They're literally just all encompassed at that point.
All right, that's fair. But let me hear. Let me just put on for a minute.
Obviously,
go on.
Obviously, range is a different factor here because obviously an attack that encompasses the quote unquote space of the entire universe is going to be far better than the space of let's say an entire room or something like that. But
Okay, now hear me out for a minute. Kenshiro has the power of simping on his side as well. You don't stand a chance here.
Technically, yes.
Mangler.
Listen, we don't like to think of it that way, but Mangler, it's actually true.
He killed his best friends for his wife. He basically killed his brother for a chick. Mangler,
people haven't done that before.
Mangler, you don't got this simping down, man. You don't understand. Her body count is the entire series.
Wait. Are we gonna? If we're gonna compare simping, you realize Dante literally has Sparta's soul, right? He has the soul of the greatest simp in the DMC series.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. Could Sparta kill his friends and people? No. Kenshiro doesn't bat.
Yes.
Sparta hasn't killed
a number of his own.
Sparta hasn't killed a single scan. When it says Sparta killed even
burial of deadly fortune. Hang on.
Scan.
Literally saying he killed an endless number of their kin.
Scan, please.
He even sealed a bunch of humans from the human world.
Scan. It's a source. Can I get a source, bro?
I got the source. Hang on. Let me finish dying.
Could Kenshiro affect Devil Trigger? No. There's no reason to assume Dante would have similar pressure points to humans and Devil Trigger.
I was gonna say, in regards to the Void Mundus thing, when Dante is fighting Void Mundus and he dodges the attacks, he isn't aware that Mundus is the Void itself.
See,
he's just dodging because he senses that there's an attack there.
He knows he can't win the simping argument, so he's avoided it.
I just provided you examples and evidence. But okay.
Kenshiro killed his brothers. That's more impressive than killing a bunch of losers.
Yeah, they're killing an entire portion of your species and betraying everyone you know and love.
You clearly have not read Fist of the North Star. Zim, we do the one chip challenge? Fuck no, I hate the heat. I hate spicy foods.
Oh, I had a
friend
one
who chip challenge.
Recorded that shit too.
Wait, what's the one chip challenge?
So I could be wrong on this one, but you buy this one chip from a company. It's made of like the hottest peppers known to man, and then dipped in the balls of like a lava monster. And you get this chip.
Like the
Oh, what?
Not literally talking about. Not literally, because someone will think that actually is the case.
They discovered fucking alchemy, and they've made lava monsters and dipped in their balls. So what happens is this chip is so hot you can't grab it with your bare hands, because apparently the hotter shit gets, the more dangerous it gets, so you really don't want to fuck with it, so you have to wear gloves. And you basically just eat it, and you just like pray to God that you don't go to the hospital. I think you have to sign a waiver, or you don't sign a waiver, but there's a waiver built into the chip box that says if this fucking kills you, it's not our fault.
sounds like the Ghost Reaper, but the Ghost Reaper or the Reaper Pepper, but on steroids.
It's far hotter. It's really not. It's really fucking not even comparable in a way in terms of how hot. Like, it sounds like an exaggeration, but like, I don't know how this is even legal for them to do. Well, I know the waiver technically does, which I still say.
I believe natural selection is the answer to your question, Neo.
No, I get that. I get that. I mean, in all fairness, if you're eating the world's hottest something or world's X something, yeah, I think you're kind of asking for it. But like, seriously, bro,
Your death was deserved.
You know, people are going to buy this just off of the fact that people live for frills.
Hey, Kyle, are you there? Paul?
Kyle's there. Look at him. Quiet.
Oh my God.
No. I can't pay attention to Discord. I have to fight.
No, I know he's there. I just looked. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, unfortunately, I missed Abraxas because I forgot that when you go to fight Pride and the Watcher leaves, it just removes her from all of your dialogue permanently. Because, you know, she's gone, but, like, I figured they would have at least kept her around, like, for gameplay purposes.
Nah, fuck you. Fuck your couch.
So, yeah, I'm gonna have to go back through.
A little off topic. Well, I guess not off topic. Yeah, no. If Kenshiro saw Dante use Royal Guard, it's now Kenshiro's. The guy literally has the guy literally has a technique that's just designed to steal all his opponent's techniques. How would he copy Royal Guard? Because Royal Guard's a martial art. According to its
It technically is.
Yeah, according to its actual definition in the game, it's a martial art, and Kenshiro has a technique
sort of
that
a
copies
demonic
all
martial arts.
It's okay. It's okay. We got demonic shit on our end too. It's fine.
I literally went for a shower and you fuckers are still at this topic.
Yes, but this is just a like a little ending portion how Kenshiro could, in fact, jump or guard fly.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna type you out a joke that I think you'll particularly like. You let me know how you receive it.
Is that the joke, or are you sending it to me?
Hang on a sec. I'm going to get the scan that you requested.
Finally, he can guard fly after all. Yes, finally someone can guard fly. Not exactly okay. How Kenshiro be an ability that can absorb and reflect all that Royal Guard is capable of? Toki auras do exist. Like, I mean, he's literally able. I mean, realistically speaking, he can just copy again. Like, I mean, you have to provide a reason why he couldn't mimic it. Like, Royal Guard on a fundamental level is just a shield that absorbs damage, stores that damage, and returns that damage back in an attack. It's not that complicated on paper. And bro, we're talking about a fighting style that can literally create a BFR void, that can literally, like, fucking warp space and time, and that can literally turn you into nothingness. Cool, can I stop informational hacks? Define the informational hacks. Because I remember I was debating Kyle on whether or not Kenshiro could learn how to counter fucking an AI at one point.
You never had this debate with me. Fucking don't. If you're going to lie to someone, don't lie when they're in the call.
I didn't lie to you. I simply pointed out that Kenshiro could become an IT. I did. Yes, I did. I will fucking murder you.
In regards to an AI, I think it's a little bit more along the lines of data manipulation rather than information.
No,
I could be wrong.
The two overlap, but people tend to think of information manipulation as just information that comprises like reality, but information and data can overlap. It's just a different variation of the two.
I'm aware. I'm just saying, like, technically that's more likely to be referring to data manipulation if we're talking about like digital beings. Though oftentimes they're usually a lot of verses treat them as one of them.
I mean, well, funny enough, Digimon actually treated it as both.
No,
I would believe that because it is a series about the digital world. If it didn't, that'd be quite disappointing.
Alright, let me see this joke here.
I've never scaled Digimon, but I've always been under the impression that Digimon has had either the potential for or just flat out has some of the best information or data manipulation in like fiction. I don't know if that's the case, but like, you know, it's just. I mean, it's a series about it, so it'd be kind of out of place for it not
Kyle,
to.
fuck your joke. I actually did get a chuckle out of it.
Ha!
What were you saying, Neil?
Oh, go on, Leo. Sorry.
No, man.
Oh,
I was gonna say, I would argue Digimon is up there, if not just outright some of the best in terms of like information. But then in terms of informational manipulation, but then again, it depends on what the criteria here is, because if we're going off of like versatility and all that, like, yeah, Digimon definitely has it for sure.
Okay, hang on a minute. Hasai. Oh, let me get the wank gloves out for this one. Okay. I'm busting out my most powerful argument to counter precog against Kinshiro in any capacity. The Judeo-Christian God can't tell the outcome of fights in Fist of the North Star because of how good they are. Done. Easy win! No. Easy win! Not even close! Fuck your conceptual information bullshit!
Would it be more of would it be a Judeo-Christian, or would it be more of a Buddhist god?
Well, I don't know. Ask Toki. He's right there.
Because I've seen statues of her, and it's more of a Buddhist, if not like Kali.
No, so the problem is that fucking so actually this is where it gets kind of fucked. In Blue Sky, the Judeo-Christian God is like present and it is worshipped. According to this one Hebrew character, his god wants revenge on Hokuto, but at the end of the series, Kenshiro reveals that the Hokuto god and that god are the same god. So technically...
I'm about to sound like an anti-Semite, but I don't think his opinion matters.
Fuck! Well, it's a good thing Kasumi was the one who confirmed it!
Yeah, but he's Jewish, so his opinion doesn't matter.
No, Kasumi's not Jewish. The guy who wanted to kill him was Jewish. Wow, also, wow. Fucking hell. Well, I guess Dallas explains why the picture you sent me has such a nice black suit with it.
I joke. I'm just gassing you around.
Fucking, the cancellation has begun. Anyways, all joking aside though. 3D Buddha, IO? No, I'm just pointing out that technically, if you're gonna fucking talk about, you know, all this informational bullshit, I got my secret wank weapon right. Well, let's go.
I still don't understand why I get punished for using consumables here when they're encouraged.
Because you're supposed to like fucking do it without consumables, but whatever. Anyways, Kyle, how strong is... Okay, still didn't answer. Cope, I did. Can't stop soul, mind, and conceptual information against erasure? Technically, yes, because they can fight God and beat it in a fight. Done. Easy. You ain't seen wank like this.
Bro.
Every time a god is introduced in a series, highest possible interpretation.
Well, to be fair, this one is meant to be the Judeo-Christian god. Zan about to cross-scale Fist of the North Star to YHVH? Why would I cross-scale Fist of the North Star with a weaker verse?
Oh my god.
Listen, when your god doesn't lose to a bunch of atheists for not believing in him, come back and talk to me. We don't need any other context for that statement. It's fine.
I really hate that. I really hate that you just summed up Apocalypse's fight.
Yeah, no, that's literally just what happened. literally is actually just what happens. No joke.
Sad life.
That's and the fourth Percy Jackson
So
novel.
what was the question I was supposed to be answering before you went off on your tangent?
Kyle, how strong is Mori Jin?
It's been. I know the God of High School is ending in like 4 or 5 chapters, but it's been a fat minute since I did any proper scaling for it. I've heard there's some universal stuff for it, depending on how you want to take the realms. But from what I know of the last time I went through it, massively faster than with Solar System Plus.
Okay, he doesn't know what he's doing. Can anyone pick that one up?
Because it's been a long time since I've actually gone through it.
All right, Neo, go.
I was going to mention, well, more or less what Kyle kind of said. I was going to somewhat say, but I'm going to elaborate on another thing. Actually, funny enough, I'm not going to say what because again, I'm not trying to get into spoiler territory. But Mori Jin actually has gotten some pretty interesting feats. Even if you don't go with the universal stuff, which I'll touch on in a bit, then Mori Jin does have some multi-solar such galaxy level stuff got just literally recently. Actually, funny enough.
That's pretty
and the
good.
likes and although the speed hasn't really changed though, which doesn't really matter. But
Yeah.
besides that, there was Cal is right. You technically can make an argument for universal Mori Jin or even higher. Technically, you technically can get them as high as 2C really.
Neo, please, I can only wing fists to a North Star so much. Gonna have to bust out the Wolverine scaling.
Because of how Mori Jin works, that would actually be a very big back and forth. Because just like Kenshiro, Mori Jin can also copy technique by a glance.
Oh, okay.
And just modify them.
So you're copying my bullshit as I copy your bullshit in real time.
That's pretty much how it goes. Yes.
Oh no! And
without
my bad.
The final fight, for as much as it's dragged out in certain parts, it was really weird that his final form is basically just Super Saiyan 3.
I don't know what that means in comparison. You, Neo, go.
I want to say no. Unironically, Mori Jin has feats and stuff that probably puts him up there with one of the just best martial artists in fiction. Unironically, I'm not even exaggerating.
Gotta reach into my pocket here for my wink turn. That's fine. I haven't read.
What is that damage?
I haven't read God of High School, so okay, Mangler's dead. Good lord, so close.
Actually, not even that close, but holy shit, that damage.
Galaxy is a niche tier nowadays. Practically everyone just goes into fucking Uni or Uni Plus now if they make it that far up. It's very rare you see just flat out Galaxy level characters nowadays.
I wouldn't say it's niche. If anything, multi-galaxy is more niche than any of them, really.
Serious questions.
Hey, it's funny you say that, but there's still a galaxy level meta for Dante, so clearly not.
Can Adachi fix Kenshiro? No, Kenshiro's fucked by fate. He's destined to be with Yuria. That poor boy. He didn't deserve that life. He didn't ask for that life. That life chose him.
I'll just say that's nothing a little Adachi can't fix.
Zam quickly skill control the god go. Unironically, I can. One of the characters he's stronger than or on par with literally fought the goddess of the North Star, the god who I just said was apparently a Judeo-Christian god as well, and technically won. His brother's entire goal was to literally challenge God and beat him in a fight, but once Kenshiro got strong enough, he's like, I don't care about fighting God anymore, because you're already standing in front of me. Good older brother.
Yes, because that man didn't have a big enough ego as it is.
Kenshiro, the most humble character of all time. When people
Followed
say...
by Toki, even more humble.
It's kind of crazy. It's just kind of crazy how, again, it's more shonen take more inspiration from Jonathan than they do Kenshiro. Very intriguing here.
I mean, how can you say that? Kenshiro has bangers when someone says, we were chosen by God to lead this world, and Kenshiro just tells them, I don't remember picking you.
Fuck, that's a top tier line.
I can't help because I remember Eminem. I think Eminem said a similar line at some point. So I can't help but wonder if he knew about that or if he just came up with it on the spot. Wait, how?
Probably knew about that because I wouldn't put Eminem knowing like pop culture shit like that.
Dante is shivering in his boots right now. You're doing good, Zim.
Well, like, Zim, like the amount of rappers who are into like nerdy shit is like beyond imagination. That's where they get a lot of their bars from. If you actually look into some of their songs.
So if Adachi fixes shin, will Kenshiro still get fingered by him?
Ooh, whoa, okay.
That's how the question was. That's how the question was asked. Technically, no, because Shin would know better. He would know that women aren't worth everything. He would know to commit to that grind. He would become strong and then just die to Souther because Souther still beats him.
What about the meta that exists that a motivated Shin could fuck over Kenshiro?
So this is the problem: is that like fucking a motivated Shin wouldn't beat Kenshiro when they fought in the series. Because that Kenshiro scales to Juza, and Juza scales directly to Rao. Kenshiro doesn't scale to Rao till way later in the fucking series. Bro, my boy Shin was done dirty. So, wait, how strong is God then? Okay. How willing are you to accept mobile game crossovers? Because technically, the goddess of the North Star can see into other realities and summon their fighters to fight for them and impart their knowledge onto them. Given that they're like literally God, you would have to assume that they technically have ownership over those realities. But again, it's like mobile game issues. So that would include the Bakiverse. That would include the fucking Tekken universe. What are fucking crossovers?
Street Fighter.
What?
Didn't Street Fighter have a crossover?
Yes, it does include Street Fighter. You're absolutely right. I forgot about Street Fighter. It also.
Sonic.
What? Oh,
It
it includes Sonic. Yes, because when Sonic came out for all the Sega games, he showed up there too.
Weird.
Easy win, boys. Easy wins. We're gonna get some more crossovers in the future. I'm just like fucking hoping. Just got that Copium on, ready to go. DMC, come on. DMC Copium, let's go. Come on, Capcom. Come on. You've already worked with Sega before. Come on.
Dude, you are literally praying that the Quintillion Fist Boy never comes.
Actually,
It'll end up being 18.
the Fist of North Star server found an interview with the author that I'm gonna have to look at later. I already sent you the one about Kasumi versus Kenshiro, which I have my issues with, but I'll talk about that at a later point. But apparently there was one regarding the Quintillion Punch. So take a look at this one. This is apparently a statement with the author. I'll have to confirm it later, but if that's legit. Still trashed by Demi-Fiend, dollar shoes, and shorts feet. So what I will say is that Kenshiro in his nuttiest...
I don't know if that comes from... That sounds like someone's headcanon. If that comes from the author, that's weird, and you'd have to discard that because that's inconsistent as fuck.
To be fair, the guy who does the 100 Quintillion Punch is literally the closest thing to God, so you could argue that he gets away with... Well, technically his people are one of the closest things to God.
That would still feel very inconsistent as fuck. I'd be very careful with using that.
I'm gonna confirm its source and its authenticity before I use it. I'm just saying that apparently they did find a statement like that. Listen, guys. Demi-Fiend doesn't. All Demi-Fiend trash is any sense of style he once had. That boy looks ridiculous, and that's coming from me. His girls are literally slaves who can't say no to him. That's all I'm saying.
So what you're telling me is that he'd fit really well in Fist of the North Star.
Yeah.
There we go. Got him. That was so stupid. It can shoot me on the wall.
There is a guy in Black Adam that does that. Hey, Pixie legit likes him. That's fair. She did help him out. She's like, hey, I help you out. Totally have no ulterior motives. It totally isn't me grooming a child to be my personal sex slave.
Okay, first off, okay, it is not grooming in any capacity.
How old is Pixie, Neo? Please.
So now we're going off of age. Now we're going off of age. Now.
Oh! I'm sorry. She's like what, millions of years old? What, dude? I was gonna ask the question: is Demifin even legal?
Actually, I'm trying to remember how old I'm trying to remember how old he actually was, because in game it's never actually stated, so I have to remember. And I think there was supplementary material that actually says how old he is, but I have to remember what. Because in the game he doesn't actually have a confirmed age.
Bro, he's a high school student.
Yeah, for sure he is. It's just that him.
Legal in Japan.
No, Kyle, no. Strongest version of Kenshiro is from Jump Force. Technically, yes, if you believe that Kenshiro scales to the protagonist, but that depends on how you, that depends on how you want to scale Jump Force.
Jump Force scaling is interesting, although I think it's somewhat pretty straightforward. At the very least, it should be like low multi or something.
Well, the problem is that people argue that it's fucking high, like tier 1, because like, oh, they're in real life. The book's in real life.
Oh god.
So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it depends how you want to do that one.
Why don't they real life me a good game?
The game was fine if they would have just added friend lobbies, rematch buttons after a game. It would have been fine. Yes, because Jump Force actually came out without the option to rematch your friend. After a game, you had to go back into the fucking lobby. You had to resend your friend an invite to a new match instead of just saying rematch. Rain coming out early. No, Samaj, stop that.
It's such a shame that Jump Force came out as such a travesty, because even the last game was still solid, even if it is, in my opinion, the weakest of the J series, which was Jumpstar's Victory and J-Star's Victory. Even that was pretty good, in my opinion.
Zim, what's the inverse argument for the goddess? What the fuck is an inverse argument? Sonic versus Dante. Dante beats Game Sonic. Archie Sonic probably beats Dante, because I think Archie Sonic's like, what, 1A or some shit?
No, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It depends on how you really argue, because there are some stupid shit you can argue Archie, but I personally don't think that he would beat Dante.
Hang on, can you hear that? It's all Sonic scalers out there just coming after
hang
Neo
on,
again.
hang on a minute though. I'm just gonna make the very simple argument. Sonic made it into Smash. Dante didn't. All I'm saying.
But you see, that's because Smash is for good little boys and girls, and Dante's not for good little boys and girls.
He got in as a Mii costume, and that obviously doesn't count.
And the manga only complaint Demi-Fiend has is about Pixie being small. He's Asian. It's for the best.
I'm gonna say honest. I mean, I'll be honest. But then again, it's never really explained why demons really just don't. Well, some demons at least don't just change their bodies because they can do that.
I've heard of stretching someone out before, but this is ridiculous.
I mean, honestly, okay.
No, stop right now.
No. I'm gonna bring up something I'm actually gonna bring up something pretty interesting. So, like, if you're familiar with a book series called Monster Girl Encyclopedia.
Oh no.
So, like, one of the things about in that book is it actually has like pixie race and the likes. But one of the more interesting things about them is while they are small, based off how like their bodies are actually developed, so in that series, Mamano or just Monster Girls essentially are basically not really reliant, but they basically punt and prey on men. Not literally, they like literally have different ways of getting a man to like inside them and like, which is how they get nursed. Like, so the reason why that's relevant is because they've actually developed their bodies to where, despite their small stature, their wombs in the legs are like fitted in a way to where you know what, when it goes in, it actually won't hurt them at all.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
So you could make a case that Pixie could be the same way, assuming she doesn't change her size. Okay, look, I told you this was going somewhere. Okay.
Yeah. It was going off the fucking deep end. That's for fucking sure. One of the old SMT mangas, Pixie could grow to adult sizes.
Yeah, no, I know she could. Yeah, exactly. No, I knew she could do that do that. It's just that again, it's very weird how she does. Then again, I guess she just likes her small size. So. Dante would be too broken for Smash anyways. I wouldn't say so necessarily.
Dante, because they could just make a classic version that's like a lot simpler. Because like they already put DMC1 Dante in there, which that's just a concession that Japan thinks DMC1 Dante is like, at least that his outfit is the most popular one. So they could just go with a non-style switching Dante. He'd be fine. He'd be easier to manage than Shulk.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say yeah.
Not to mention, Shulk is literally like they have a game template for how they could design him. They could design him the same as Shulk. It's just the difference is that he would just change his specials instead of changing stat boosts. Whereas Shulk, like how Shulk is designed, is that he pulls up a display with his neutral B and he activates the different versions of the Monado arts, which each have their own advantages and disadvantages. And in Dante's case, he just do the same thing, except it'd be at the 4 cardinal directions, and he'd just get like 1 new move, or maybe like 2 or 3 new moves.
What the fuck just happened? I come back and he's talking about fucking Smash?
Yes. Someone mentioned
The
Smash.
command screen like FF, right? Kind of. It's not exactly the entire same, but kind of, yeah. So I wouldn't really call it a command screen. If anything, that's kind of Hero's case. That's literally just what that is. But
Oh, that command menu! I hate that
yeah,
thing.
the literal command menu.
Like, I'm gonna touch my chin and get access to 20 random spells. Here we go.
Speaking of Xenoblade Neo, have you finished Xenoblade 3? I'm actually close to it. I haven't finished it because again, I am busy with life.
Lies.
Smash Bros. versus PlayStation All-Star Royale verse. I'm going off of how like their scale like in universe, then honestly that's not too far of a match as you think it would be, because like you could argue both are at like 2C essentially. So like so in terms of like pure AP and like it'd probably be around equal and so on and so forth. But like it just comes out. But I would argue Smash Bros. Versus has better hacks and so on and so forth. But then again, it's kind of not fair because the PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale versus hasn't really had much to it. We had like 1 game.
Yeah, they have 1 game, and Smash, I think, like, even in their earliest iteration, has a roster that almost matches the size of the PlayStation Royale. Or the Battle Royale.
Well, fuck you, man.
No, like we're literally talking about a game that has over 90 characters, and technically, if you're counting the Mii costume variations as having their actual powers, which I don't know if people do that, but if you include that, oh, full.
Rinse not basic.
Oh, boy.
Misunderstood.
If we're like talking about like the verses that are featured in both, then still Smash Bros. Verse because it has not only Zeno and Megami Tensei, which needs no explanation to it, but
Got Bayonetta in there. Like, you're not. I'm sorry, but like the best character you got on like the roster for PlayStation All-Stars is like Reboot Dante and Kratos, and that's not like. That's not beating Bayo or Joker or like
Mangler says that while Ratchet and Clank just like sweats with that noob buff they got from that last game.
Okay, that wasn't at the time. You have to remember that. Wait, that's also Ratchet and Clank like future though. I'm pretty sure they have the classic Ratchet and Clank in there. Pretty sure though, I could be wrong.
Deceptions.
As much as I want to stay and continue to participate in this, my phone's about to die, so I'll catch you boys later.
Alright, there's that. And then there were 3.
Oh yeah, they also have the Xenoblade cast. I forgot about those. Somehow.
I mentioned that.
If you had just said Aegis, I would have been like, oh yeah, he mentioned it.
What was I gonna say? Bro, Smash Bros versus Digimon Rumble. Okay, so I actually love Digimon Rumble. They need to make another one. Well, they technically did. They need to make another one.
You need to be
New
satisfied
question.
before.
What is Digimon Rumble?
It's a Smash Bros Digimon game. Like that's literally what it is, and it's fun. It's absolutely fun.
Wow.
That sounds kind of fun.
Just fucking call a Smash clone, damn.
First and foremost, fuck off. I hate when people use the term clone. Yes, it may be the same in terms of it being a platforming fighter, but you know what?
Yeah.
Not every platformer is a fucking Mario clone.
Yeah, it is. You're gonna be one of those guys that be like, fucking Braid over there is not a Mario clone. He literally has Goombas.
Oh my gosh. No.
You're welcome. Wonder Woman versus Bayonetta. I think it does. I think yes, last time it does, but I guess Neil wasn't here, so Neil, you.
It's disconnected for some reason.
I mean, again, what I said in the server, because again, this was literally asked in the server, so, Wonder Woman, honestly, it depends on which version, because, like, if you use, like, Wonder Woman with, like, amps, then, yeah, obviously she beats Bayonetta pretty badly. But if we're just talking about, like, a standard Wonder Woman, and let's just say this is, like, pre-crisis or post-crisis, honestly argue that Bayonetta has a chance, if not just outright wins those.
Wow.
Although still not without like struggle, but like still.
Damn, look at him saying women can be average.
I'm back. What's happening?
Nothing. Just some silliness on Neo's end.
Digimon and SMT copying each other. No, the funny thing is it's kind of a running gag that Digimon and SMT are like literally the same verse now due to how like similar their lore is. Not even similar. At this point, their lore is almost identical. It's just getting kind of stupid now.
It is what it is.
Alright, got some healing items. Thank God.
Dim, how's making Ren a likable question? What?
I think base Wonder Woman wins. So, it kind of depends, like, your average base Wonder Woman is not, like, tier 2, though.
Well,
like, there's probably versions of her that beat Bayo, but, like, I don't think your standard version of Wonder Woman is.
Silliness equals misogyny? Is that what the fuck?
Well, so how can we have a conversation of misogyny if it's two women fighting each other? How's that physically possible?
Oh, Mangler, you have no idea. That's like saying, how can there be... Wait, what? Hang on.
Most or all version of DC character are 1A. Kind of, in a way. Some may have forms are, but, like, obviously not all of them are, like, literally.
You can argue in, like, the context of the story, the writer could make them that, but, like, or they have the cosmology to, but they're not consistently existing at a 1A capacity at all times. Or even at most times. So my eyeballs...
No real Zimmertorn.
Fierce.
Wow. How's making a likable character going? It's going. It's going.
Oh, I am feeling the pressure. Oh, you have no health left. Delicious. You also have no health left. Wonderful.
You sound very pleased about that fact.
I love how I got out of that attack and then it didn't matter anyway. Oh, it seems we have an enemy behind us.
It's going somewhere. That's all I know. It's going places. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure I'm on the right track with this. I have no feedback to work with, but I'm pretty sure it's getting there.
The upside script.
Fuck, in regards to all my fucking projects right now, I already said in the last fucking stream with the Halo one, like, end goal for sure for the channel this year is just to have How Powerful Airsight out and maybe something else. Jay Warrior, you haven't even read the book!
Please be the G1.
Please be the what?
Please be the G1. Please be the G1.
Yeah, I was saying, just say, please be the the G1 vlog video, come on. I've been waiting
I feel like I'm running the slots here. Is my RNG good enough?
No.
I just feel like sometimes when you're cooking the videos and you've had them edited, it's just like, all right, which one is he gonna decide to upgrade today? Do you just have like a spinner in your room that you spin? And you're just like, spin the dial and we'll see what it lands.
Kyle, tell us. Ha! Nice try, fuckers! But no one who's read the book is still in the call! Ha! Nice try. Anyways, why did I make Rin so hateable? Because I was inspired by Clockwork Orange. Unfortunately, I should have remembered I was a shitty writer. I should have remembered my actual abilities and adjusted accordingly. Samaj, you haven't read the book. Who the fuck are you lying to? How would Rin mirror Zim? Because there's an argument, because there's a lot of people who think when people write stories that they put self-inserts in as the main character. That's not true for this case. It's not true. Just throwing it out there.
Right, we're making it. A wave 25.
Just get the Darksiders 2 already. Holy shit.
If you want, I can come back and finish this later after this try.
Hot take: SMT Vishnu can defeat SMT Satan.
Technically, yeah, that's not wrong. Technically, it's just that like, yeah.
Oh. That spike is
Hot take.
very dangerous.
Oh, go ahead, Neil. You're still going.
I was gonna say it's a bit weird because technically, you could argue that he could do the same ritual that Shiva did, that essentially like was going to like destroy basically every demon and the likes and so on and so forth. You could argue that, but otherwise, I don't see why Vishnu would be able to mess with Satan otherwise. Although SMT scaling is pretty fucked, and if you take certain people into account, it gets even more fucky, and I hate it. By the way, funny enough too, I can finally talk about this now since the convo was kind of just stopped, and I hope it just stays stopped. So, because I don't feel like debating it with this person anymore. So I finally got to talk. To Ultima about Megami Tensei after a fucking while. So on and so forth, and the convo was pretty interesting in itself too. It's like, I'm gonna be real honest, like actually like hearing the arguments from the man himself, I still don't really get it. Like there's some things that make more sense now, but then there's a lot more that I'm like, okay, why are these arguments a thing though? That's the thing.
Oh yeah, she want to talk to Ultima for some time about some some SMG stuff.
I'm not sure how long Ultima wanted to talk to me, but like honestly, I'm just glad I got to finally actually speak to him because if you don't know, he's one of the people who's behind how SMT Megami Tensei in general was treated on Mega on like Versatile Wiki, and also on top of that too, he's basically the one who's like spearheading potential upgrades for SMT to be like high 1A to like tier 0 or some shit.
I just knew him as the guy that usually handles tier 1 CRTs.
No, that's him. That's definitely him for sure. But he does handle specific versus him. Megami Tensei is one of them.
Is it like a supporter, or is it like?
No, he's like one of the main people behind it, actually, and has been for a while, actually. Like he isn't the only one, and the like, but like, he's definitely like one of the main like spearheads.
Okay, I need some health. We are not doing spectacular right now. We have 70 waves to go. What are we? Oh, it's only 11:30. Perfect. Not too bad. No, thank God I didn't have to actually have the Abraxas fight him, right? Oh, I didn't get to tell Kyle that I messed up the Darksiders 3 ending. Gee. Unfortunate. Wait, can anyone still hear me? Am I cut out? Hello? Oh, no, never mind.
They can
I heard
still
sound
hear
that
you.
time. I was like, today I'm having weird disconnects where there's no clear indication that I'm disconnecting.
Yes, I just went to go use the restroom.
Okay. That's fine. Alright, so I believe we have a spider boss, and then... Well, oh no, that is annoying.
When DMC4 Bloody Palace, he wants answers apparently.
Never! Unless I'm allowed to play Virgil. Or maybe Lady? I was practicing
Listen,
Lady
you only
a
get
lot.
Bloody Palace with Virgil, and that's it.
God.
You receive no Bloody Palace with any other character, because DMC4 Bloody Palace was stupidly designed and was a bane against existence.
So that's not one of the best things in that game.
DMC4 Bloody Palace ruined Bloody Palace forever.
But just because it added a time limit.
Yes.
Seems like someone's a tad bit upset.
Bruh.
Oh my God.
Dude, the fact that you can't turn off the timer in any capacity is what we call in the industry bullshit.
Okay. I'm kind of sick and tired of this fucking shit. Oh, God.
Why don't you just keep buying enough fucking stat items to heal it up?
That's not how it works that way. I just used the highest, like, stat item, like, healing shard that I had. And it does less than my Nephilim's Respite, which is my standard, like, rechargeable healing. Oh. I'd rather... I think I'll probably I'll suspend my playthrough for 3 right now, because it's technically finished. I just have to do the Crucible and unlock Wicked K, which requires me to beat it from the beginning to the end. And that's not too difficult, so I'm just not really focused right now.
He said that's not too difficult as he lost every attempt he's done so far.
Well, every attempt has been better. I've improved my attempts by, like, you know, at least 5 floors each time. It just took me, like, 6 tries.
Live service games are ruining video games because they release games that aren't complete on release.
DMC2 Bloody Palace then, Mangler? I would love to do DMC2 well, actually, I would love to do DMC2 DMD. But over here, let's start the game.
Also, yes, live service is fucking ruining games as an understatement.
Yeah,
Are
unfortunately.
you telling me you don't appreciate your game that was supposed to be completed, like, 3 years prior?
I've had this talk with a lot of people, and again, I feel like even though I do like things like DLC and patches, I also think that they were basically also the downfall of the industry, because now it just allows companies to just make a game that is shitty upon release, and so, but oh wait, we can fix it later. No, fucking have the game work to begin with, asshole.
No, give me your $60, you fucker, and you'll be happy about it.
Yes. So we are on to Darksiders 2 now.
Finally.
The Forge Lands area basically takes place after the events of Fury killing the Seven Sens and retreating into the portal with the rest of humanity.
Source, please.
My God.
Scan. Sometime this year, please.
I have all of them. I will give them to you.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
No, go ahead, Neil.
Game devs suck these days. AAA game devs, yeah, for sure, in my opinion. Indie game devs, Yeah, that's where the good of the gaming industry really lies in nowadays. Honestly,
Yeah, too
like
bad
here's the
half of them
thing.
only making hentai games.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll say, but yeah, no. The reason why I feel like patching, well, not feel like, because I honestly know for a fact that patching definitely was as good as it is. Don't get me wrong. There's obviously benefits with being able to patch and like stuff and add extra content. Like, there's nothing wrong with that inherently. It's just that companies use it as a clutch now. When back then you literally couldn't use it as a clutch because it's not possible. You would just have to make an entirely different edition, like Capcom did with Street Fighter several dozens of times.
Oh, so you're one of those
Yep.
guys who likes the fucking 40 different versions of Street Fighter 2. I understand.
Is that why there's so many different versions of Street Fighter 2?
Yeah.
No joke. Actually, one of the main reason why there just is so many different versions of Street Fighter is just because there are different content editions, and back then you couldn't patch something to add different content, so you just have to make a new version.
Dude, I was wondering why the hell for like their. So I think Capcom released a it was either an Ultimate Fighting Game collection. It's not the Darkstalkers combination one with a bunch of retro ones. It was a different one that included that as like a subset of it, and it had like 8 different Street Fighter games, like 3 or 4 of them which were just versions of Street Fighter 2. It was like Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I'm like, why are there so many fucking Street Fighter 2s?
The problem is the game was
Yeah.
popular.
I was gonna say that, like, yeah, and obviously I don't think that gaming should be that extreme to where there's just like so many different versions of one game. But I'm just saying that, like, the fact that companies had to get it right the first time or just didn't get it right at all without having to make another version, just in my opinion, was a good incentive to just make a really good game. Honestly,
Yeah, that's fair.
but in all seriousness, Capcom's probably like the most absurd example of this. Like, seriously, there's so many fucking versions of Street Fighter 2, man. What the hell?
They actually re-released Third Strike in that collection,
Yep.
which I think is its second release, like period. I'm surprised by.
People overrate graphics too much. You know, the funny thing about graphics is I feel like that most people really, I wouldn't say most, but a good amount of people do understand that graphics isn't everything. But the issue that I have here is that, like, graphics are getting so crazily good to the point where it's coming at the expense of expensive ass games. Like, bro, I'm not gonna pay a heavy amount for some realistic water that has some really good fluid physics. Like, sorry, I don't want that. I'm sorry, I can live without that, honestly.
I have to fight Uthang's brother.
You gonna fight him?
I am.
No, the problem is just that graphics. I don't mind. Obviously, good graphics are good in my personal opinion. At least they are good additions. But at the same time, I feel like graphics shouldn't be a compromise to just a good game. But also, additionally, I feel like we're going too crazy with graphics to the point where they're coming at the expense of how much a game costs. When you really think about it, a lot of these games are costing so much heavy amounts is because of the fact that, like, these quote-unquote realistic graphics and so on and so forth, and the production cost for shit. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if they just toned down the graphics a bit, just so the game wouldn't cost so damn much. But hey,
Look at COD. Those games have those versions of COD I think have jumped up from every year after BO2 have jumped up from 12 to 20 to 30 to 40 gigs, and most of that is actually just graphics.
yeah, no, and that's the thing about it. It's like, again, I don't mind, like, obviously graphics look good, but like, I don't want extremely real life, and I say that in quote, real life looking graphics at the expense of how much space and how much cost the game's gonna have. It's just getting to the point where it's kind of ridiculous, honestly.
Alright, Alva, give me your stuff.
It just frustrates me too because companies aren't going to listen. They're not. Again, companies only listen to money, so you have to just either not get the game for them to actually listen, or just get it and they're just inevitably just going to fall on deaf ears. See, this is one of the things I find interesting about the whole concept of like boycotting and so on and so forth, because I feel like making it a moral issue is kind of not entirely the case to go about it, because it's like it's a lot more nuanced than that. Like obviously I don't support some of this stuff, but at the same time I can't just let that compromise a game that I actually really want to experience at the same time too. Like it's one of the reasons why I feel like boycotting is kind of as hard, is easier said than done, really.
Why does she say the rumors are true if I've only talked to one person since I got here? Man, word must travel fast.
Rumors are true.
I mean, they were, but who was spreading them? I only talked to one person before I got here,
Wait,
and then I
what?
walked over here in 5 seconds.
Why the hell is Pimp Team flaunting money?
Why is he flaunting money?
Well, we can definitely tell by the symbol you have right beside your name.
Not exactly a very indicative number for how much he's actually spending.
But we are not without our weapons. Before the forge was lost, we crafted a mighty creature of...
I just show up out of nowhere. Can Death from Darksiders beat Cole McGard? Yeah.
Yeah, he should. Also, like you composite.
What's
Cole.
McGarth?
Is that how you pronounce his name?
Oh, Cole McGrath.
Yeah, wait.
Wait, is the C silent?
Yeah.
That's lame.
Yeah, like electricity is not going to do much against, well, a guy that can resist more than just electricity.
Also, Neil, why are you disrespecting the greatest fucking TV show to come out in recent history?
Oh, no. If you're talking about Rings of Power, fuck off. It's one of the worst TV shows I've seen in like 10 years. I'm not even
This is what happens, man. Women get to be in charge of a show for once, and men just will keep kicking them down.
Oh my god. Yeah, please. No. It's so much bigger than that. The show is actually fucking shit.
You're gonna tell me then that you thought Sauron's actor was bad too?
Oh, listen, man. No, ignoring all the lore bits that they just absolutely stepped on and spit on, ignoring all that shit, even without that, this show, man, this show actually made me like, I have a sore throat right now, and I feel like this show was behind that.
I am not worthy.
Mangler, you're not worthy for a weapon, so no. Go back to being useless.
It's okay. Everything in my arsenal, in one half of my arsenal, is better than anything they could conceive with all the materials in the world.
That's not petty in the slightest. You're not petty.
Nope. No.
Kingdom Hearts verse versus Dragon Ball verse.
Kingdom Hearts, pretty much.
What are things that women are able to create for the world? Right, that's why you put me on the spot like that. Right, that's why you put me on the fucking spot like that, bro.
Actually, funny enough, there actually is quite a bit of stuff that women have made.
Sure. Name one.
I mean, there was, what was it? No, it wasn't the radio. It was something regarding sound. Give me a minute.
He's looking it up. He's gonna use the Google.
No, because I know. I had literally something in mind. I just literally don't know what it was. Was it It was something regarding. Okay, fuck it. What is it called?
They did make blowjobs. That is true. Well, actually, hang on a minute. We don't know if that's true or not. Maybe a man did it first.
Oh my god.
To be fair, the Greeks and the Romans and those kinds of people were very promiscuous. Genie shows up. First question you ask, who was the first blowjob done by a man or a woman? And then you find out it was done by a dog.
Oh no. Oh god.
I'm halfway through 100%. I'm halfway there, 100% Bayo 3. It's much easier to platinum Bayo 3 because of the large hitbox attack spam. You basically can kill enemies without getting close. Good for you.
I think I skipped a line of dialogue. I'm gonna do this slower. I get it. You guys are old.
Oh yeah, finally. So she made this thing. So she made this basically this communication system that essentially was like the basis for like, just like one of the basis for like Bluetooth Wi-Fi and the like. So essentially it was called frequency hopping and the likes. It's That's what I was trying to mention. I literally just forgot what was the name. Like that was one thing that actually kind of shocked me that like a woman made. That sounds so misogynistic.
Also, that sounds super misogynistic.
Corruption has taken our forest, and Gorwood is a being of that old wood.
Nah, I've been on YouTube long enough to know to watch to catch myself. Don't worry.
You're the kind of guy who shows up and be like, women shouldn't be allowed to fight.
Oh my god.
Going to sleep? Alright, poster. Next time, bye, mate.
Still need to get Bayo free, honestly. Looks pretty cool.
It's probably going to be the last hack and slash game made for the next 4 years. Unless you count
Yeah.
Hollow Knight as a hack and slash.
You could. You could. You honestly, unironically could. It's Metroidvania, but it definitely does have elements of hack and slash at the very at the very very least.
What about a 3D ones?
God of War's kind of stepped down from hack and slash for a while, and it doesn't seem that's coming back anytime soon. So
God of War gave up its gameplay for a story. The price one pays for progress.
Yep, it never had a story before then.
Nope.
Totally didn't.
Nope. Nope. No story that was emotional in the slightest.
Nope.
Fuck your daughter.
no, I hate that. I really hate that. Like, I don't know where this narrative that like gaming just never really had stories came. And I know, well, okay, I know where it came from. It came from casuals who were not really heavy into gaming and really has been into it. But it's like it kind of annoys me because it comes at the expense of like getting stuff like, for example, stuff like Last of Us or Uncharted, which are, in my opinion, solid experiences and the likes. But like people just talk about how they're like, oh, amazing game, but it's always like about the story in itself and how like they're basically almost like movies in a way. And I'm like, bruh, seriously?
Our power is over creation.
Yes.
Have you just not played a JRPG in your life or something?
A Nephilim.
Apparently
Probably
not.
not.
Apparently Persona 5 is the first one they ever played in their life. So, I don't know.
Well, anime versions of Thousand Year Blood War be stronger than manga versions. So since it's been 2 weeks since like first and I think the second episodes, I can actually talk about those. Yes. Well, yes and no. Technically, as far as the anime versions of the Thousand Year Blood War arc, it is translating the manga pretty 1-to-1, but it's also just being really like blatant. So any statements or arguments that you could make for characters doing things in the manga, expect it to just be more in your face. So an example that I would give is like, I think the manga establishes... Actually, hold up 1 minute. I got the manga right here. So yeah, they say in the manga when they're talking in the first scene about like who is eradicating the very existence of the Hollows, they basically say the exact same thing in the anime, and then they even they say erasing the very existence of it in the dubbed. So yeah, they just take the more or less the exact same lines and explicitly put it down. So I would assume they're gonna make every single fight not only as like blunt as possible. Though they will be adding more fights, so certain characters will definitely get more feats because we'll actually see their fights on screen.
We have seen
It's not gonna. Well, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying he said we have seen Del play God of War 4, but God of War 4's gameplay has been watered down so much that it's called a hack and slash isn't entirely fair anymore.
It's basically like the base of a hack and slash if you took out every single element of it that could be a hack and slash, and then you replaced it with very watered down versions of Souls mechanics, and then governed its story like The Last of Us. Like that. That's kind of what it feels like. It feels like it's a combination of really popular mainstream like design decisions in a lot of popular series meshed together into one game with what's left of the base of a God of War game.
First-person shooter versus third-person shooter? I mean, honestly, either one of them can be good, but I find myself liking a lot of first-person shooters more than third. So.
I haven't actually... I think I've played... As far as third-person shooters, aside from Gears, I think the main ones that I played was what was it called? Mercenaries back in the day was one of the ones I played. So I don't know if people count that as much. Like a lot of people consider that more of like a sandbox game because it's. I mean, it is about the shooting, but some of the stuff that you can do in that game is. It makes shooting less of the focus, we'll say.
Yeah. Who's a better side character, Zoro or Vegeta? What aspect? Because if we're talking about like in terms of pure character, well, I would actually just say Zoro, and I'm sure nobody would disagree with me there.
Yeah, like, I mean, I would say he's more of an actual side character than Vegeta, to be honest. Because, like, while Vegeta technically is, like, when it comes to, especially when it comes to, like, Dragon Ball Super, the show is more or less about, like, the focus of Goku and Vegeta. They're kind of both the main characters together. Like, the focus is very much divided between the two of them. Whereas, like, I wouldn't say that's necessarily the case with Zoro. Like, Zoro is just mainly the what's it called? I was gonna say the best mate. The second mate. Is that the terminology applying to?
He's the first mate.
The first mate. You know what I'm saying? Like the person next to the captain, second to the captain.
Yeah. In terms of sword, Zoro, short hair, Zoro being what the fuck?
Oh, that thing.
What? What even is that fucking quest? Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Is that some sort of meme?
That is very ugly.
I mean, honestly, my favorite meme with Zoro still involves him holding his schlong.
The hell is wrong with you, Neo?
You know, I had actually forgotten about that until you brought it up. So thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that imagery. That's why I stay away from One Piece. Just these memes, nothing else. Not the 1,000-chapter commitments, not how much people tell me like that it's peak fiction, not any of the other glossing or stuff that people salivate over it. No, just those memes.
I mean, to be fair, it's gotten so popular to the point where people unironically forget that they're actually wearing pants in some of those scenes.
Why are you aiding and abetting this nonsense?
One Piece peak fiction, too true. What
See
is
that's
Vegeta's
a more
goal?
normal thing to say.
Vegeta's goal is to just not be worse than Goku.
Why did that delay? He like got frozen in. That is weird.
It's not higher than Gintama on my anime list. In all fairness, I wouldn't take list as. I mean, honestly, I do think Gintama is actually better than One Piece. Fight me, I don't care. But I wouldn't really use list though personally. They tend to be, although they do show popularity because for some reason, well, not for some reason, I know exactly why. Full Metal Alchemist always makes like consistently like top 10 or somewhere, top 10, top 15.
Neo, what were your opinions on? I actually don't know if you saw this, but did you ever see the Casshern Sins anime? And what were your opinions on it, if you did?
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Did you ever manage to catch the Casshern Sins anime that debuted back in like it was 2009, made by Studio Madhouse?
I don't think I have actually.
Oh, I was gonna say it was a reboot. So it was a reboot of the show, I believe in the 70s, that was supposed to basically show this like super powered like character that was fighting against this guy named can't remember what his name was, but he was basically supposed to be controlling over an army of robots that was like threatening humanity in the world in sort of a very child-friendly post-apocalyptic world that was very much not focused on that element. And then they made a reboot of it in which it is a full-on like post-apocalyptic world, with Casshern basically being this like immortal, this robot made immortal that wanders throughout the wasteland, being attacked by people that want him dead, and essentially him struggling with the amnesia of what amnesia of his past and what led to the world being that way.
Hmm.
It's actually a really interesting thing. It's only I think it's only like 24 episodes. I would recommend giving it a watch though. It's a very very different kind of anime, atmosphere wise, tone wise.
Seems up my alley.
Wait, what about Samurai 7? Did you see that one?
Yes, yes, I have.
Oh,
I actually okay. So I like Samurai 7. Good. I really like Samurai 7. Actually, I don't get an opportunity to really talk about it. I do like it.
so that one I think that one debuted around the same time that Kishine's did on I believe it was either Adult Swim or Toonami. Actually, no, yeah, it was Toonami. Toonami. Oh, that Samurai 7 was probably one of the. I mean, I haven't watched too many animes in my life. I probably watched like maybe 20, 30, but that is definitely one I would put in my top 6, top 7. It's just a pretty solid story, and it's reliably short as well, so it's not like a huge long-term commitment. Great characters, great designs.
I'm gonna be honest. Honestly, I Black Clover's all right, but it's just like I definitely prefer Demon Slayer over it. I'm gonna be real with you, honestly.
The way we're going to play this playthrough is that we are going to do everything in the main campaign, and then we will do all the side quests and content. Because in this game, you don't have to get like a specific ending or anything like you do in 3, so it should be fine. Also, I have almost level capped like everybody, so they're all going to die horribly painful, miserable deaths.
Oh, I think
Actually-
that's dumb, Neil. Well, I think your opinion's dumb, so...
What did I walk
Actually,
back
that
into?
Great question. I'm not entirely sure.
Marineford versus Madara. Depends on how you scale Naruto, but I think you can make a solid case that Marineford beats fucking Madara. A dish? You want me to find a dish? Kyle, what the fuck are you smoking?
Oh yeah. I was gonna say this is technically a confirmation. One of these is one of the confirmations that like Darksiders 2 takes place afterwards, because they confirmed that corruption happened quite some time ago, and at the end of Darksiders 3, corruption has not yet been unleashed.
But corruption
And in this
never
game-
appears in the human world, so therefore you can suck a dick.
It actually does. You go back to Earth and you find the Hellguard in Darksiders 2.
Alright, provide the scan.
Let me just get there. I'll show you. It's literally in the game. They're actually the ones that explain what's attacking them on the Earth, and they explain what's coming from the corruption, where it's coming from.
Fake news. I'll be right back.
So Mangler, did you try Necrocrit on Built on Death? What is Necrocrit? Is that a variation of the crit builds? I just have the standard like. Let me check. I have the standard like high crit damage builds with Chaos Fang, and I'm not using it at the moment. Currently, I'm using Life Bane because Life Bane's broken. And I use Life Bane with its like freezing capabilities and its Health Steal, and then I'm also using Skeletal Axe of Rending because Rending is broken. You just take everyone's life. Super broken on enemies that are like weaker than you. If you're fighting like a bunch of weak enemies and then you have one really strong enemy, you just hit one of the weak enemies with a charge attack and just restore your entire health. Super dumb. Is that the strongest horseman? So during the events of Genesis, he is. During the events of the game, I would argue Fury is. But you can definitely argue he's like bare minimum the second strongest. Most people would generally say he's the strongest because of him fighting Absalom. It's just all the horsemen in general technically scale to each other. Just death scale is vaguely higher, but like that statement of him being the strongest and leader of the horsemen applies to the horsemen eons before the events like the main games.
Why not restore the fire yourself?
Yeah, who would you who would who would you say is the strongest Pokemon protagonist? We're talking about just the main games. It's probably gonna have to be Lucas and Dawn because of the fact that they're able to canonically get their hands on like they're able to canonically get their hands on. I think they do canonically have at least the Lake Trio. Not all of them at once, but like but one of them at least working with them. And also, I'm trying to remember if they also get Palkia and Dialga. No, I don't think they don't actually. I think they just get the like actually. Oh, that still makes them like among the strongest for pretty obvious reasons. But again, it's kind of hard. Well, then again, I guess depending on what we're measuring here, because if we're measuring off the Pokemon that they have, then yeah, I think my answer still applies there. But if we're just talking about like how they are as actual like trainers and the likes, then technically the strongest protagonist would probably be Red after the events of after like a large time skip.
Red, put me in Mount Silver 1v1 me, bro.
Yeah, because the crazy thing about this, like at the time, yeah, Gold is like far better trainer than not far better, but he's a better trainer than Red is. But like, didn't Red actually decide to train and get better, and then he appears in Sun and Moon?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like because Gold canonically fights Red, and the Red's like, yeah, you see, I lost, but here's the thing, bye. I'll be back later.
I was gonna say, if we're going off of that front, then yeah, Red would probably be the strongest. But if we're talking about protagonists in general, then that means we get to include things like Mystery Dungeon and the likes. In which case, I would say probably the main protagonist of Explorers of Sky is the strongest because literally it's just a human turned Pokemon that's able to fight against not only Palkia but also Dialga as well too.
Wait,
Like
where did I was actually going to ask because I've actually been playing the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX. I've been doing fairly now. Where would they scale in comparison to most of the standard Poke protagonists? If we were just considering like most of their strongest ones, like their strongest Pokemon.
They'd probably be on par with Dawn and Lucas's strongest Pokemon. So here's the thing. Trained Pokemon are able to scale like way higher than what they actually normally would as like wild Pokemon. And Lucas and Dawn's Pokemon both have feats of being able to fight like Palkia and Dialga. Granted, an avatar of them, but still nonetheless fighting them, and so on and so forth. No likes. So there's that.
Well, I'm trying to remember because I know that they basically send you on a Gen 1 through 3 run of all the legendaries in the game. Because even when you're a fugitive, the first legendaries that you start as are you fight Articuno and Zapdos, Articuno and Moltres
Which
back to
one?
back.
I was gonna say.
What?
I'm gonna say which mystery dungeon because there's different.
The DX.
Okay. Because I'm gonna say because like in because in Explorers of Sky, in Time and Darkness, like the first legendary you actually ever fight, and pretty early into the game too, is Groudon. Granted, it's an illusion created by Mesprit, I believe, but it's still nonetheless supposed to mimic the power of Groudon.
That's so horrible because Groudon is like one of the final antagonists of DX. That's power creep if I've ever seen it before.
Yeah, it's pretty odd.
There we go.
Yeah, no, it just depends because again, Pokemon scaling when you involve like trained Pokemon become weird because they can scale to levels they normally would not ever scale.
Yes. Necromancer skills, arcane and crit damage. It will melt enemies when you slaughter, and you can feel it way back watching the slaughter. Oh, if we're just considering like the Necromancer skill tree. I actually have new skill points. I don't really use Harvest.
With the
I'm
anime
gonna still
and
use.
manga stack, manga stacks up pretty decently, if not just far better than what the games do, which is probably not surprising. Anime is probably around the same too. Strongest villain from Pokemon. Going off of mainline, then it's going off of mainline. Then it's actually probably going to be Volo. From the recent, not recent. It's not recent anymore, but from Legends Arceus.
The I didn't understand what you said when you said Necro Crit, but now I know you're referring to the Necromancer upgrade path. The ghouls do so much fucking damage. Oh my god, they do so much damage in this game. Like they will just haunt your enemies forever, and they have that weird death's allure ability. So every enemy is forced to attack them against their will.
Well, it can come out. Well, here's the thing. Legends came out this year, but I still don't really want to call that recent. Recent is like still. 'Cause not only did it come out like earlier, but like also still. I don't know. When I think of recent, I think of like literally just like not too long ago came out.
I don't think Gold beat Red. He does beat Red. He's literally the final boss of the game.
Yeah, that is true. Gold does actually beat Red canonically, and for the longest time, he actually is.
Source?
Play the game, asshole. But anyways.
Show me the canon ending, bro!
Dude, there's only one ending.
Source!
After you beat him, the credits roll.
Alright, that's good enough.
I mean, technically the credits roll multiple times, but they roll a second time and only.
So then it's not valid!
There is after game content where you go to the Kanto region. Fight me.
Your mom's a Kanto region?
That doesn't even make any sense.
That's because everyone goes there!
Good lord.
Alright, go on. Go on with your discussion. Don't mind me.
Just appear out of nowhere to talk about nothing.
So here's the thing: May's age is it changes from different medias. In like the game, she's actually like 12. Okay, so in the games now she's 12. Back then, it actually didn't even clarify how old she was. So it's like, if for back then, it's up for fucking debate at that point. But yeah, the game nowadays, which referring to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they just outright says she's 12. In the original anime, she's like 10. In the manga, though, that's where things get interesting because like it's hard to tell actually.
In the anime, it's the same case as Ash, just doesn't age, and in some cases will age backwards.
What the fuck?
Again, it's so stupid because again, it's not like Ash's age is like it's just, like he's just always referred to himself as 10. It's like, bro, I don't believe it anymore. You've been 10 for like different seasons, and keep in mind these seasons are canonically like carrying off of one another. So I don't believe you. You're lying to me.
Maybe it all happened within the length of a single year. In which case, this kid must be the most fucking competitive Pokemon player I've ever seen. He is apparently
to believe that happens all in the span of a year. I refuse to believe that shit.
But wouldn't it be more entertaining to believe he just has supernatural TV show levels of luck to find enough money and resources to get to every single tournament? Wouldn't it just be more entertaining to think of it that way?
Yeah, that would be pretty that'd be pretty interesting. But like honestly, I just found like everyone always jokes about Ash's age and like, but I just find it so weird because again, he always calls himself 10, and the seasons aren't like different like season in the sense like they're like different worlds or anything. Like they're literal continuations of like the last. So it's like, bro, what's the time span between these seasons? Or if there even is any at all?
Hmm. I mean, don't they even mention like time skips of usually a few days to as many as a week during the seasons?
I think
I'm pretty sure
so.
there's
I
several
don't know.
episodes where they do.
I have to go and watch the Pokemon anime again because it's been a hot minute. But like, no, they do acknowledge that like there is there is some time in between. So it's like I'm not buying this anymore. You're not fooling me anymore with this. Well, no, Leon is the strongest Pokemon trainer, but like he's not a protagonist though. So
Then he's the strongest Pokemon trainer. Then he's probably the strongest Pokemon trainer. Then he fucks off for like, several generations. Then probably comes back and is probably the strongest Pokemon trainer.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at the fact that he constantly seems to leave his job at the Elite Four and then come back to his job at the Elite Four.
None of us fucking really know Black Clover unless Neo does. Apparently, according to Pimp Demon, they've been traveling for a year. There's an episode in the first season where they say they've been traveling for a year. And also, we all know Ash is the strongest Pokemon trainer. Don't know why the hell we're having this discussion. He always loses due to plot. Come on now. Yeah, it's a Keyblade. Oh.
To be fair, he only really loses at the Pokemon Leagues, which is like the only place where he should be losing.
So he only loses against the best of the best?
Yeah, but he does eventually win the Pokemon League championship,
He wins
but
on
that's
a technicality.
I think that's like 7th generation.
My last Dark team played through Harbinger full crit build, could do 14k to 17k damage. The item came from the Arena Challenge.
Does it use Chaos Fang? Because Chaos Fang has a 200% crit rating. Or crit chance. Or what? 200% crit damage, 20% crit chance. Sorry, but you're basically critting, when you activate that with Unstoppable, you are critting enemies 65% of the time on every strike. So if you do a flip saw, you will just see gold numbers fly across the screen. So where the hell am I going?
You hide your comments, nobody's responding, lol. No, your comments are fair game, unless YouTube's hiding them. The problem here is that no one really fucking knows anything about Black Clover. Also,
I was gonna say nobody really cares.
Ironically enough, Dark Schneider as well. Like, only person who knows about Dark Schneider is Kyle. And I think maybe Neo's read it. But
yes,
I'll say beyond that,
it's been a while.
Yeah, none of us really keep up with those series. I just thought Black Clover's art style was garbage, and I was just like, I'm good.
Wait, skill thingy. There we go.
That's usually what I hear about with Black Clover is like either A, they gave it up because of the art style, or they gave it up because apparently Astya yelled like every single episode super loud or something. But then again, I haven't seen many of the news stories either. Like, I don't know anything about Chainsaw Man or fucking Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay. Jujutsu Kaisen I need to finish, but Chainsaw Man is good. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Chainsaw Man is good, and if you don't think so, you can go eat a dick.
So, are you telling me you're a big fan of the new anime then?
Is it?
So you're a big fan of the animation then? The anime?
Yeah, no, I like the anime, but I'm more so keeping up with the manga. I'm mostly caught up. I haven't finished it. I haven't finished what's released yet, but I'm mostly caught up.
Yeah, fucking everyone said if I'm going to give it a shot, just go watch the anime at this point. So I really should make some time to sit down and do that. But I still gotta fucking rewatch Edge Runners.
Daryl, I was gonna say.
I really like the shit out of Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is, I absolutely love it. It's fun.
Daryl, you said you were doing 14 to 17k?
Chainsaw Man is doo-doo water. Man, fuck out of here. You like God of War, you asshole.
Do you happen to know what your crit chance was by chance? Because I think mine is like 40 something without Unstoppable. I'm trying to see if there are any other items in the game that could buff it, because I believe I only have Chaos Thing, this. What else am I running?
I mean, in all seriousness, Chainsaw Man tends to be, I wouldn't say decisive because the reception to it is generally positive, but there are some contrarians out there who do call it bad and so on and so forth, and it's like, I feel like Chainsaw Man's actually a breath of fresh air to like the whole shonen battle type of manga. Honestly, truth be told, I haven't read one that's like really actually really invested me as much as this has in like a good minute.
Yeah, I only have out of my items, I only have I guess the standard base crit chance, whatever I have, my standard item, and then I guess my secondary, and then which is a skeletal axe of rendering, and my talisman. I do not have a glove, a boot, armor, or shoulder set that increases crit chance. All of them increase crit damage and arcane, but not a single one of them actually increases crit chance.
Hang on. Makima Sims just don't interact with the opposite gender, bro. That's factual.
Makima Sims just don't interact with the opposite gender.
To be fair, I think that's not Miki made for most simps for anime waifus in general.
I was gonna say, yeah, no.
Fucking CGI man. You know, I have heard that. I guess the chainsaw guy is CGI'd. I guess, like when he's in his chainsaw.
Again, most of my praises come from the manga and the like. Anime, I actually do like, but like I'm mainly when I say it's good, I mainly talk about the manga.
Damn.
When I talk
that anime got thrown under the bus real fast.
Because the reason for it is because I don't think the anime really truly conveys just how good the manga or series really is. The anime is good in my personal opinion, but I don't think it's as good as the manga. So I'm mainly talking about the manga when I say so.
I love how like immediately like if someone's just talking about Chainsaw Man, you look between your two children and you immediately throw the anime under the bus first. No hesitation. It's slowing us down by like a fraction of a second. Get rid of it. The manga art is so bad. I've seen really great manga panels from fucking Chainsaw Man. If you think Chainsaw Man's art is like bad, I feel like you've just been like spoiled with your manga art.
No, that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, what? Chainsaw Man has like some of the most aesthetically pleasing, at least in my personal opinion, like art style I've seen in a while. Honestly, like I'm not even joking. It's just really, again, I will say that it's not like the most absurdly, detailed. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely detailed, but it's not like absurdly detailed. But it's definitely really good. It kind of fits the whole style that it's going for too. I'm like, nah, bro, you capping if you say that this art style is bad. Get out of here.
It's simplistic, but like when it needs to be, it will actually fucking go in detail. Like, granted, I don't read Chainsaw Man 1-to-1, but from what I've seen in the manga panels, I've seen a lot worse.
No, because again, I will admit that like I can see what people may be put off by the art style, but as far as like the art style being bad, in my personal opinion, I am not seeing it at all. I've seen matter of fact, if people can fucking look at Baki Grapple, then I'm saying Chainsaw Man's fine. Fuck out of here.
Actually, so that was actually going to be my second question. That's like, well, that was going to be a question I just thought of because he said the casual panels. So what do you guys consider? And I guess it's an open question. What do you guys consider more important for your mangas? Do you consider like consistent good panels across the board, or would you rather have like decent panels and then like fucking top tier like panels at times?
That is fair. Me personally, I don't really mind. Okay, so like I can tolerate like bad panels and the like. I just don't want it to be like obviously the consistency. I don't want to have a panel decent or anything. Like, I just want the panel to just at least look aesthetically pleasing to me in some type of way. Just look good, passable, I guess. You know, not ugly, please.
It's like, listen, just look like you were drawn by somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing and we're golden.
So like me personally, I don't like if a panels like extremely quality. I don't care if like not all of like the panels are like that. I just want the panels in general just to be, good in general.
If Chainsaw Man looks bad, then what the fuck is Hunter x Hunter?
Okay. Hunter x Hunter's original manga style, in my personal opinion, it is really not bad in my personal opinion. Matter of fact, I'm not sure people will say that it's even bad. Like in certain aspects, I can see it, but like consistently bad panels, I'm not seeing that. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what people were really sipping on to where it's kind of become like somewhat of a narrative in the likes. Like again, I understand that Tagashi isn't like the best artist around. Matter of fact, I'm not saying he's a bad artist because I definitely disagree with that. He's not a bad artist. It's just that like definitely he's not like the most detailed artist, but he definitely has a style that is very unique and a very easy to tell that it is actually him.
Apparently, they look like stick figures, Neo.
I get a skeleton key? Oh,
Have to be on
nice.
drugs. They do not look like stick figures, even in the slightest.
Pimp Demon, send me a manga panel. Pimp Demon, let me see it for myself.
Watch him pull like probably like the worst panel too. Swear to God.
Bastard art was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I this guy.
Why brought up Bastard? The art style was pretty nice. Who would Dante get along with more? Gintoki from Gintama or Vale Valentine from Final Fantasy? I don't know either of those two. Vale Valentine's from which Final Fantasy game?
Vale Valentine? Actually, he's pretty much just. Wait a minute. I think you might be confusing. I'm pretty sure you mean Vincent Valentine. I don't know why you went by his other language name, but
If he means Vincent Valentine, then I think he probably gets along better with the Gintama guy, if we're being honest.
Wait, which Dante though?
Oh, that is true. Do you think the
Because
Wano arc
if we're talking,
animation
like-
better than Demon Slayer animation? Good question. Wano arc has some
We're talking,
pretty
like-
good fucking animation going on, but Demon Slayer, well, fuck. I feel like I can't really talk about it because whenever I think Demon Slayer animation, I think about the movie. For those of you who don't know, if anyone doesn't know, Demon Slayer got a movie a while back. And the movie's animation is spectacular.
There's the shadow bomb.
But I feel like that's kind of cheating. Because, it's a
There should be
movie.
a shadow bomb in this realm. Oh. Oh. The plot thickens.
That's what she said.
That is dumb.
That's the one you're going to call dumb? Of all of that's what she said I've ever said. That's the one where it just breaks the
I
line.
didn't say none of the other ones were dumb. They can still all be dumb together.
Lies. Hunter x Hunter is better than I remembered.
Well, there's one of the things.
Vincent I think that fucking that there. Yeah, no, so I'm gonna give it to Wano Arc anime-wise. I think Wano Arc was better than Demon Slayer, but Demon Slayer really only has animation going for it. Its story's not the worst, but it's also not the best either. It also has kind of like a bit of a, at least in my personal opinion, had a bit of a lame payoff at the end.
Anime Dante would probably get along pretty well with Vincent Valentine. If they were just strictly about the business, yeah, no, they get along pretty decently. There's a lot of Dantes that are very serious, very grim.
Name fallacy. I mean, what does the guidebook say for the attacks? Because I'm assuming Black Clover has a guidebook by this point, right? So what does the guidebook say for the attacks like going on? Because if the guidebook says that like this attacks with stars, then there's no reason not to call it a star. Samaj is losing his mind somehow. Anyone ever played the Van Helsing game on OG Xbox? No. And you?
Actually, thinking of Victor Varan. When he said that, but that's a completely different game.
You think UFO Table did better animation in Fate than fucking Demon Slayer? If you say so, mate. Cope harder.
Thank goodness, shadow bombs don't just like explode in my hands.
Is the Van Helsing a movie licensed game? I'm not too sure. You haven't even
I
watched
guess
it,
it doesn't matter.
Jackass? Cope harder.
Didn't even matter, and it exploded in the cutscene. Wow, that's.
What?
Well, I guess that's my way out of the room.
Hey, it's Garn.
Yes. Okay, I'm still not understanding why is he getting frozen.
Maybe it's your fucking necklace?
Oh no! Apparently, Life Bane can freeze you because it freezes you with the life. So apparently, the life stealing abilities of the Abyss also freeze you as a result of stealing your life. I don't know how that makes sense. I mean, things in the Abyss can definitely freeze you, but I think they freeze you as a result of stealing your life. It's a little silly. Kind of overkill.
Like, sure, a star as big as a pebble, that isn't going to cut for star level AP.
It's not really how stars are calculated. It depends on how much energy is within it.
I was gonna say, truth be told, well, the basis for star level and versatile wiki at least, or just in general, comes off of gravitational binding energy and the like. So technically, a star can be as small. It's a bit weird, and this technically shouldn't be the case either. But technically, you could. There is a case where you can potentially make a star that's just like as small as a pebble, but somehow as dense as like the actual sun. That's possible. Probably not in reality, but like in fiction, that is possible though. And like, so, well, I mean, I'm not saying that I agree with Samaj in this particular, because I'm just saying that actually, size doesn't actually determine at least what star level is. It's just mainly based off of gravitational binding energy. So, like, let's say that, like, a star has, like, the gravitational binding energy of, like, the sun, despite the fact that it shouldn't because of its size and gravity and so on and so forth, yada yada. Well, still being able to overpower that would still be star level in that particular case, because you're overpowering the amount of energy needed to overcome that gravitational binding energy and the likes. So technically, it's more so based off of gravitational binding energy than it is actual size. It's just the size in itself conglomerates to be that level.
Yes.
And so on and so forth. It's sorry, that sounds like a mind twister, but that's kind of just how it is in the case. So
I mean, that's
technically
kind of what
speaking,
I
a star,
assumed.
I'm gonna say, although speaking technically, even a star as small as like palm of your hand would actually be pretty powerful, somewhere within tier 7 to tier 6 actually. Well, then again, it also depends on luminosity and all that stuff. But even a small star can get you some pretty stupid AP, sort of like how creating like actual black holes the size of like a person can get like large plant level and some shit.
Yeah, because it all just really depends on the force being produced, right, from the thing itself.
Yeah, it's complicated, but more or less, Samaj technically isn't wrong, but like at the same time, because again, I'm not saying that Clover's case is that, but I'm just saying that theoretically his case actually could be true.
Well, so like I would just say like if there's a guidebook statement that whatever this guy's doing is like an actual star, like let's say he fucking blasts you with a small star, I have no reason to assume that star would be weaker than like an actual star. Unless of course like, you know, it's a more science driven story, but if it's like a magical driven story like Black Clover, unless I fucking have no idea what the fuck Black Clover's about, I would have no reason to assume that mini star would be weaker than like your average star.
It's a bit weird technically, because technically how you would approach like a small star is technically you would just actually calculate it based off of, well, the factors that I brought in before: size, gravity. Well, size, derive that with gravity and luminosity, yada yada, basically all that shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, what I'm just saying is that, like, on a personal level, I would just kind of question that depending on, like, how the verse works. If it's, like, a magic system like Black Clover and it's stated to be a star, I'm not going to fucking, like, question, like, okay, it's probably just star level and just move on from there, you know? Because the problem is, like, if you start bringing in... Because science technically can't even work with magic, technically, because magic is a supernatural concept, and science only explains the natural concepts of the world.
Magic is a concept that can't be falsified.
Yeah, so it's
So
like...
if something is being used to name an object or an idea or some phenomenon akin to magic, you would use the one that can be falsified. So apparently, Samaj was saying that he wasn't arguing it for AP; he was arguing it as star magic, which I don't know what that means exactly.
I guess maybe it was a contextual... I guess maybe he was just arguing that it was an actual star.
So like what? The magic is solar powered? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I guess what's going on is, like, I guess what Samaj is saying is that he's just... Zim, if it was a star, it wouldn't be considered to be a star level feat if it's the size of a rock. If it's in a magical system, you can't prove it's not the same potency because it's a magical system.
Yeah,
you can't, like, do
you
that.
you wouldn't assume that. Yeah, that'd be a little bit dishonest.
Again, so because the problem is that magic by itself fucking literally is not logical in its standard, like, form. So you would have to provide, like, evidence for why it wouldn't be, but the problem is that to do that, you kind of have to provide the same evidence that fucks over 99% of fictional verses and scaling. Because, like, so for example, let's say I create a small star in my hand right now using magic. Then that means nothing? Yeah, it does. I literally just explained to you that's made with supernatural means. You can't just say it's not a star because of how big it is. That's really an appeal to ignorance.
What you're using is a visual fallacy, though. Your position is literally based entirely on what you're seeing.
So if I have a description that this small attack is a star and it's being thrown out to attack somebody, I'm going to assume they've thrown a star at them, you know? Because I have no reason to assume otherwise, unless of course it's like a science verse or something where I'd actually be like, okay, well, let's see how much damage it actually does, because we can't actually quantify scientifically what a mini star can do. Because we can create mini supernovas, actually. I found that out the other day. Even if it was a star, it wouldn't count a star level AP. Why? How can you prove that the magic would not equal a normal star? Again, because the only way you would be able to do that is you'd have to argue for shit that screws over every verse if you put them under the same, like, microscope. Because if your argument is it doesn't produce the same energy on panel or on, like, visual, that becomes a very murky water. Wait, so it's like, what if fucking the guy says, like, this little star has the same mass as, like, the sun? Like, is that fair game then, or is that also wrong? Like, how... Oh, go ahead.
that's actually what I was kind of... Okay, so I guess I might as well step in here a bit. That's kind of actually what I was talking about there. So, like, if it was, like, a small star that actually, like, you know, stated to be the case, then, yeah, it doesn't really matter at that particular point, and it pretty much just would have... It'd be pretty... It's weird, because technically that should not be possible, but it's like, it just happens. It shouldn't be possible, but in the case that it just outright is stated to just have, like, the mass of, like, our sun... for some whatever reason, then yeah, it just at that point, gravitational binding energy at that point should be essentially, well, you could make a case. It's very weird. It's a very murky area because it's like technically isn't within the realms of possible. That technically shouldn't be possible, but you could still technically calculate.
There we go.
Still technically actually like get something from that. It's
not
a bit weird.
It's not an appeal to ignorance to say it still has star level AP. You're arguing because it doesn't demonstrate the same qualities as a real star, therefore it's not valid.
I'm just gonna say this as like I'm not helping, and I'm not like jumping into this. I'm just saying as somebody who's seen the series. For Black Clover, you just argue a preponderance of evidence because, for the most part, all of the grimoires have a very specific element to them, and they are shown to control that element. Fire, for example, you've got one that's light. The user is able to make, transform, and move at light speed. So if none of the grimoires are shown to be lying and they all have like that aspect, why would we assume that they wouldn't be actual stars? Because the only thing you're arguing at this point is that they're not the size of a star.
Well, and that's okay. So here's my thing for this too. This is because again, I'm kind of on your side here, but I'm also kind of okay. So I'm kind of not just being neutral, just to like actually be neutral because like I kind of agree and disagree here because like because like you're not wrong technically. You can make a case that like a star can be like as small as like a pebble, but still somehow have like the gravitational binding energy of our sun. As illogical as that literally is, that's possible within the realm of fiction at least. But also the thing is as well too. Me personally, my thing is I personally, and this is how also Versawiki goes about it as well. This is the one of like the few things I actually do agree with them on this is like, so let's say like a character like does create like let's say a miniature sun and the like.
Oh, believe
So
me, I know.
in that particular case, and like there's just like again, because like we're assuming that this is an actual like this is an actual like star that like a naturally formed star and so forth, or at least akin to like a naturally formed star and like so on and so forth. In that particular case, what Versawiki would do and how I personally would go about it is we would personally just calculate it using its size and then derive mass from that, then the luminosity, then yada yada get a total amount of energy production, so on and so forth, and binding energy, so forth. Essentially, you would just use an actual process of how you actually can gauge stuff like that of that nature.
So how
like an actual reality, because I'm gonna say in actual reality too, there are things such as like stars being like very miniature, like that actually is a thing that can happen, not just in labs, but like in space. Like stars can just suddenly and keep in mind those stars won't last for too long. They usually die pretty quickly.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
Give me redemption.
So,
yeah, I was gonna say.
So the thing I have to ask now is, can you prove that, despite the stars being the size of a pebble, can you prove that they're not star level? Because again, you're still arguing for size. So this is my thing where what comes to the grimoires. You've literally also got a grimoire that can time. So the grimoires are extremely specific of what they do. So it kind of falls upon you to prove more than just the size of the star.
Can I prove they are not? That is kind of because there's notification that they are. Well, Kyle's explaining like clearly that all these grimoires control a specific thing, and if this specific grimoire controls stars, that means it controls stars. Like, I mean, that's pretty clear cut.
So Ken, for as much as you want to say, bruh, this is how the series treats it. You're the one who disagrees. So you need to come to the table with some actual evidence for why that wouldn't be star level AP, despite what size it is.
Okay. First off, again, we're talking about magic system. Just because it's not as big as our sun doesn't mean that it can't be at the same like attack potency. It's a magic system. They can literally probably do whatever the fuck they want within that magic system. You can't really bring logical basis to magic. That's kind of literally the antithesis to magic.
We'll use another series, for example. Like, let's take Toriko. Don Slime can literally make a supernova that could have, like, eviscerated Toriko's planet. The same planet which had the capability of going supernova.
Like...
and the size of this star was, like, less than... What would you say, Neo? Less than the size of a fist?
Yeah, probably less, but yeah.
You can't use logic, so how can you determine the star level? Because I'm throwing a star at you. Again, I'm just using, if it's described as a star, I'm just going to assume it's star level and move on. I have no reason to believe otherwise. Listen, let's prove it otherwise. There's no evidence to suggest that it has the same AP as a star. if it's called a star and the Grimoire controls the element it's in, and a logical star, right?
You ever heard the saying, looks like a duck?
You understand that you're
You ever heard the
basing...
saying, it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck? It's probably a fucking duck.
Well, hang on a minute now.
Like-
Hang on a minute now. See, this is kind of where I'm a little... This is where I'm going to ask the honest question. Why are you guys arguing so hard for blatant showings of feats? You scale God of War. You can barely break a fucking mountain in physical feats. Why the fuck are you guys fighting so hard on this hill?
Better question, do you even care?
I mean, I don't care about Black Clover, but I'm just kind of curious. Why are you guys so stringent against this? Your verse literally doesn't apply the same rules.
Well, I guess the last thing I'm gonna say is before I let you guys just get out at this point or whatever, shift topics, is for me personally how I would go about Black, because I actually do agree that like Black Clover's cases, I do agree, and I will say this, I do agree that like the stars that they do make in Black Clover are actual stars. I do agree with that front. But me personally though, I would just go with Versatile method and just because again, this is how you would actually calculate how much energy
that method. My bullet for Timbros got screwed over. Use our own logic and downgrade God of War right now. Use it, try it. I just did. You guys have no feats. You guys have no feats on par with what you guys are claiming for half your guys' thing.
Oh, okay.
What's the talking of a horseman?
So again, for Black Clover's case, for example, how I would go about it personally is I would just go about basically just calculating stuff based off the stuff that's shown. So essentially, let's say like for example, size of the star is like size of a human, or like size of Astra, for example. I don't know how actual tall he is or something like this. So let's just say like 5 foot, 5 foot or some shit. So essentially what you would do is you would just take the size and so on and so forth, scale, essentially, well, there's a lot of math involved. I literally could just do it and just show you, but I don't feel like doing it right now. Essentially, there's a lengthy process, yada yada, too long. You would just basically use what people would actually like use like to calculate how much energy something the star can make. Because if you do, I'm sure everyone already knows this. Stars, vary in size and vary in potency and so on and so forth, and some literally are small and then die, or some just become big and don't die quickly. It's stupid and it's weird, but I don't know. I guess it just depends on scaling standards and how you go about it. Me personally, that's how I would do it. I would just go and actually calculate how much it is using an actual method, as opposed to just slap star level on it personally. But then again, there's the case where it's like if it's like said to like have like the mass of like the sun, then okay, fine, fair game. I'm just gonna go star level on that because it's like, hey, it should obviously probably have the same gravitational binding energy, even though it doesn't make any sense.
Okay,
So what I would say right now is, if this statement goes from it creates suns to it hits with the force of a sun or a star, it's over. But also, when you guys say, like, the primordials fighting to create the universe, be very careful with that, because there is still yet to be any kind of, like, confirmation in God of War that they're separated by any kind of spatial barrier.
Well,
as far as we know, it is still landmass.
Well, what I was going to say is...
So that can end up being wrong very, very quickly. So be very careful how you want to use that.
What I was going to say regarding that one is, like, you said Primordials created the universe by punching, and to be fair, we do see that, although we see one Primordial get punched, his body becomes stars, and we see another Primordial get punched, and they become a river. So they're not all the same size, but whatever, that's fine. But, like, we literally see Kratos punch things bloodlusted, and nothing happens, like, anywhere around it. Dude, I can bring up I could probably bring up hundreds of anti-feats against that for Kratos, because he loves to punch people while fucking mad. This is
Also, Ken, your biggest thing is that you're worried about the size of the star. My thing is, if I haven't kept up with Black Clover, but if I went through it, I don't care if he's making stars. The statement I'm looking for is it hits with the force.
As for going back to the blue there for a moment, if you had a magic that can create a planet the size of a shield, would you say that's planet level AP? If you can hit with that level of force, yeah, I'd have no reason saying no to that. But then again, to be fair, and I've said this on multiple ones of my streams, my scaling is a lot less strict on a personal level. For me, if I see something called a star, all right, it's called a star. The description for it says I hit with stars. All right, good enough for me. It's star level. Move on. Like, on a personal level, I'm not as strict as some other people are. If your standards are strict, that's fine. I'm just a little curious why the verse that has very few physical showings of the AP they argue for is the guys being super strict on this one. That's just my question.
Well, the thing I don't understand too is just like on a fictional verse that uses a magic system, why are you guys trying to die on this hill?
No, like I'm just gonna be real here. DMC is not in a better position when it comes to this. Like 100%. Like there's like maybe a few that would, maybe even one or two. Actually, I don't even think we have like a direct statement on that level. Like I'm not saying DMC's better off. I'm just saying that like it just seems really weird that this is like the hill you guys are arguing super hard for. It just seems a little weird. Because let's be real, only Bayonetta fans are the ones who get a chance here.
Daryl, did you get my question earlier when I mentioned like if you had access to like other crit chance build items? Because I only had ones for the talisman, for the primary, and the secondary weapons. I was wondering if you managed to find any items that buff that, because my crit chance capped at like 40% without unstoppable.
Quick question: if you had magic that can create a planet that is the size of the shoe, then would it be planet level AP? Well, that's weird too, and this is for different reasons actually. So planets are very different from. Well, obviously planets are different from stars. I'm sure we all know that. But the thing here is how you would go about trying to derive anything from that is also very different as well too. Well, for one thing, it's impossible for something to have naturally form curvature, until it hits like around 609 meters in diameter, essentially. What was it? I believe. Yeah, 600 meters in like as a spear, for example. Like for example, I'm trying to remember.
What's your diameter?
I'm trying to think. I gotta think what was the exact number, but like there's a specific number that is minimum required for like mass and like space to actually form a spear and become like an actual like spear, like an actual spear celestial body, essentially. That's it. There's like a minimal size that is needed to become like a celestial body that naturally forms a spear of that nature. So technically speaking, a planet that's like the size of the shoe should not be possible, because like it's way below the level that something is needed to naturally become like a celestial body. But in that particular case, what you would do how I would go about calculating that, or just going about that, is just, well, it's a bit weird, because does it exert gravity and so on and so forth, despite its small ass size? Does it exert any noticeable gravity? Because technically everything does, except for lack of.
He said it's a planet, so I guess let's just assume the planet can flow on its own in the cosmos. We'll assume it has a gravity, and I guess that's it.
Zim, I'm nodding off.
I was going to say in that particular case, I guess you would just go about calculating the gravitational.
I mean, to be fair, no, like Neo is right here with the planet in particular, where it's like, yeah, like technically different sides do it. Everything will master the gravitation. Well, he just said that, Ken.
And no, that's why I corrected myself there. I was like, yeah, technically everything does have like a gravitational pull, except for, well, the lack of actual mass. But what I was going to say was, does it like exert any noticeable gravity, like again to how an actual planet would, how an actual like sizable planet would?
Well, so I guess I'll ask a question then. Like, when Peter Griffin's so fat that he has a gravitational field around him, what would that actually give him then?
Well, here's the thing. Technically, you would just go about. It's a bit weird, man. God damn it. There's so many different ways you can go about that, and it's just so stupid. But I was going to say that, like, technically speaking, how you would go about that is, oh boy, do I even feel like explaining this, or can I just get like an actual showing method for this? Because like, point is that's a weird question. A planet the size of a shoe, assuming that it has like noticeable gravity, is just very weird.
Well, man,
I'm not even sure how I would even go about that.
I think context matters too. To be fair,
I'm gonna say like I don't even think that like it would particularly mean anything particular. I mean, if it has like the size, if it has like the planet of like if it has like the mass of the planet, and I still think it's fair game. But it's like at that point, it's like,
Because like, what if the guy's like, I can create planets this small, but he's also like referencing it to celestial bodies for comparison.
I guess I don't know. It's just such a weird thing to bring up because like I don't think that that's an I don't think that that's
Mangler,
planet level.
Mangler, are you dipping?
Yeah, I told you I'm really tired and about to pass out.
All right, Mangler.
Do you have something else you can do to cover?
Yeah, I'll see what else bring up right now. But we'll go ahead and end the stream here so that way we don't like get too complicated. And if we'll be back in like 10 to 15 minutes, guys. All right. So I'll.